Maybe.
I think so. It might just take a minute to come back because it probably doesn't refresh that much after you've been down for a few minutes.
Yeah.
I'm going to proceed on the assumption that we're okay. Hey, there we go. There we go. I have the sound off, by the way, on Splatoon, so I can play comfortably in case anything happens with the sound. It should be at an okay rank. Yeah, I'm A- because I play with friends sometimes and they're terrible. Sorry if you're listening, but both of them are pretty terrible. So it's been pretty hard. I figure now would be a good time for questions and stuff and anything like that if you have any, because couldn't interact much with the chat during the last game. So I have my little helper elf here who's going to read out questions to me. She's reading the chat for me. Yeah, you were just on a minute ago though.
Yeah, it feels more formal. That's fine.
Just whatever you do, speak up.
Okay. I just realized I'm having that question. It's gonna have to go up.
Oh.
Should I answer ones that I already know the answer to?
No, just ask. Just ask me.
Will you be reviewing DLR?
That's a word.
Yeah.
Possibly. I did say I would at one point, but now I kind.
Someone says the game audio is too loud
It's the blue line there. The blue dial. Just turn it down a little bit. Turn up the audio as well if you can't hear her or anything like that. So yeah, the question was, am I going to review Virtual Last Reward? I did say I would at one point. A large part of the reason for that though was to increase interest in the series, because it's a series that I like, and Virtue's or Zero Escape 3 wasn't confirmed at the time. Now that it's confirmed, I think it might be better to wait and just review it at the same time. So ideally I would like to do a video on them at some point, but I'm not going to make any promises, and it probably won't be for quite a while if it does happen. Yeah, you can increase the... Oh no, that's the one I got you to turn down was this.
Maybe if you turn it down on the TV?
No. There should be one there somewhere. I'll help you out now in a second. 131. I thought it was higher. Come on. Jesus. Alright. Alright, we'll try that. If it's not right, you turn the grey one down to turn the game down, turn the blue one up to turn us up. It should be okay now. Hopefully, anyway.
Oh, did it ever drive you mad working on an amazing, ambitious project that was the Dark Souls video? Was it your hardest work yet?
Yeah, it was the hardest one yet. It was pretty tough, especially because there was a lot of technical issues which I didn't really go into, but they were pretty bad. Every single clip that I did came out with horrible audio, so they all had to be run through FFmpeg twice, once to stitch it all together because Elgato saves the files as separate chunks. So once to stitch it all together, once to fix up the audio, and then of course it had to go into Vegas for actual editing and stuff. And that was a bit of a motivation killer because that stuff took a while in and of itself. I didn't really have to do much, I just had to type a few commands into the command line and press enter and let it run. But when you have to do that for every single clip that you have, it slows things down a lot, and it doesn't make it fun to work on, you know? So that was a bit of a problem. And then there was some files that just couldn't be salvaged at all. Notoriously, actually, one of them, and it got me really depressed when it happened, was the Dusk clip that a lot of you like. That nearly didn't make it in. That very nearly didn't make it in. I fixed up the file, but the audio was still completely out of sync. So what I had to do was I had to use the file anyway, and then realign the audio so that it lined up correctly. Because obviously the audio was very important for that clip. But if anything else in that file was useless in that play section. Now thankfully it was only about a half an hour play section, but there was a couple of other things in there I had to re-record as well. So that annoyed me quite a lot. Yeah, and that wasn't fun. So that clip nearly didn't make it in, and then there was other bits and pieces that nearly didn't make it in and stuff, and just all little awkward things that happened along the way that made it hard to work on. But I'm happy with the end product, so there you go. I probably blathered on quite a bit. But I'm happy when I see people talking about that Dusk clip or posting it somewhere else or something like that, because I know how close it was to not making it in. And I knew when I got it, because that footage isn't recorded from my first playthrough. Obviously my first playthrough was 4 years ago or something, and I didn't record it. But that did happen to me basically exactly the way it happened in the clip, and I had a hard time making it happen in the game. Because it's the kind of thing where when it happens it's really funny, but when you're trying to replicate it, it's hard to get the AI to do exactly what you want it to do. And then miraculously it just sort of happened perfectly, exactly the way I wanted it to. And I was delighted with it. I was so happy. And then it comes out that the clip actually didn't come out right, and that got me really down. Until I worked on it and found a way around it, you know? Like that just kill your motivation along the way when you have trouble like that, and it makes it really hard to work on something like that.
I think it can be hard as well, because Dark Souls is quite a long game.
Yeah.
So if you need to re-record anything, you've often got a lot to do to get back there.
Yeah, the auto-saving as well, because the auto-saves, I think we lost this one. Oh, we won. The reason we won that one, actually, rare reason for winning, but it's because we painted our own base better. They didn't do a good job on their own base. And that's why. It's normally not a good idea to dwell too much on your own base in Splatoon. I'll give you that tip right now. But it is good to try and get it covered over the course of the whole match. You don't spend the start of the match on it, but as you respawn, just do little bits and pieces. There must be a map change now.
Did you have a Demon Souls casual playthrough planned?
No. No, I didn't have a casual playthrough planned. I hope the maps are better. I was kind of hoping for some different maps. I like Camp Triggerfish though. Oh, I hate the skate park. Worst map. Kelp Dome's pretty bad as well. Oh, I'm not a big fan of these maps. It's a shame. I'll probably only be streaming for an hour or two anyway, so.
What's your game of the year so far?
Gotta give it to Bloodborne because I didn't play much else this year so far anyway. I played this for a while even though I hate the skate park. Actually, I hope this fails. I want to change weapon.
What's your favorite Shin Megami Tensei game?
Nocturne.
Yeah.
Nocturne. Might get some hate for this, but I do not see the hype around Strange Journey at all. At all. I don't get it. I don't like the battle system. I don't like Smirk in Shin Megami Tensei 4 either. I think that's way too extreme. But I still prefer it to the battle system of Strange Journey. And a large part of the reason why I like Nocturne is because of the battle system, so it's yeah, I mean, it's what you spend a lot of your time doing, so it's kind of weird that more JRPGs don't focus on giving you something interesting to play around with in that time.
Have you played the new Metal Gear?
Yeah. I played it right when it came out. I actually took a break from the Dark Souls video to do it because I was afraid of spoilers. So as soon as it came out, I just played it for a week straight. But I'll be talking about that at some point in the future, so I'm not going to talk about it tonight, unfortunately. I think it's a given that, you know, since I did all those Metal Gear reviews, I will be reviewing it, but I'm going to give it time because I gave all the other games time when they were reviewed, so I think it would be a little unfair for me to do a big series of reviews long after those games come out and then do a sort of reactionary review of Metal Gear Solid 5. I need to give it time.
Crash Bandicoot versus Mario, what's better?
Crash Bandicoot versus Mario?
Yeah.
I gotta give it to Mario. Although, I really love Crash Team Racing. I'd say that's probably better than any Mario Kart. Or at least I got more time out of it than any Mario Kart. Although I was a kid at the time and I didn't have an N64, so that could be a large part of the reason why. I liked it though. It didn't seem quite as rubber bandy. I don't think it was rubber bandy at all actually. I remember lapping the AI on some of it. When you used the shortcut in the sewer level particularly, you could get really far ahead of the AI. So I don't think it rubber banded much, and the weapons and stuff didn't seem as random and, you know, RNG, you win or you lose on a dice roll sort of thing.
What would you recommend playing Dark Souls on? PS3 or PC?
PC if you can, but you should definitely use a controller. Some people can play it with the keyboard controls, I can't. But you should definitely play it on the PC with the resolution unlocker. I tried the frame rate unlocker and it caused some issues for me. I clipped through the geometry considerably, whereas I never really, you know, I've had problems in the Souls games before, but I've never outright clipped through the world. That happened to me as soon as I put the 60 FPS thing on, so you know, 60 FPS is nice, but I do think it introduces some problems. But the resolution thing was perfectly fine. And the game looks a lot better. You'll notice there's actually a lot of details on the weapons. You love that.
Yeah. The armor and the weapons look gorgeous on PC once you have it sorted out.
There's a lot of detail that you don't see on the console versions. It's still there. and it's nice, like just little details on shields and stuff like that.
It's actually really impressive. Like the art book has all the little details on the pictures, like the illustrations, and they actually have that in game. You just don't really see it on the PS3.
Yeah.
Are you looking forward to Dark Souls 3?
No. I don't really care about it at the moment. I haven't seen anything that piques my interest about it, so no. I'm probably not going to buy it when it comes out. I'm going to wait until they come out with the all-in-one edition, whenever that is, and then just buy that instead. I think especially, I wasn't particularly interested in the first place because, you know, it's going to be the same team that worked on Dark Souls 2, and Dark Souls 2 didn't impress me, as you all know. So I just don't really see a reason to build myself up for anything when it's going to be the same team, or at least most of the same people. Because a director can only do so much. People say that, you know, Miyazaki is back, and that's great. You know, for Dark Souls 3, it's great. I would prefer that he would work on something else, but a game is more than just its director. Even the best directors out there, you know? So, I don't see a point, and especially after some of the stuff they've said about it, the way you'll be warping from the start. I go on about this quite a lot, but I love the fact that you can't warp in Dark Souls. I have no idea why they decided to let you warp in Dark Souls 2 at the start. I don't even know why they allowed you to do it in Bloodborne. I don't think it was a good idea for either of those games, and especially doesn't sound like a good idea for Dark Souls 3. Especially because it seems almost like they're trying to win back. We're a little disappointed in Dark Souls 2, like they're a bit aware of that. And to me, the warping is such a huge Dark Souls thing that you know, you almost can't call it a Dark Souls game if you have that warping in there from the start. That's how much I think it's important. So it's a bit baffling to me, and one of the main reasons why I'm not getting excited for it or anything. But I would like for it to turn out to be a good game. Of course, you know, I don't want to be totally dismissive of it or anything like that. I am hoping for good things, but I'm just not going to expect them.
Do you agree with the idea that a game should try to fit into its franchise, and if it fails, it's a bad game?
To a large degree, yeah. And I think that's why I wish we saw more spiritual sequels in games in general, you know? Just because, yeah, you go into a game with certain expectations, and something might not necessarily be a bad game, but it's almost, you start to wonder what's the point in putting this game in this series a lot of the time, when they could have just gone on and done something new instead. And, you know, often the point really is just marketing. They just want to be able to market it to people. And I think everybody suffers as a result. The fans of the original thing suffer as a result. The fans of this potentially new thing suffer because the new game has to be shoehorned into this old series. So I just don't think it really works out well for anybody, except people in marketing who like to push ideas on developers. So that's where I think it comes from anyway.
Are you going to watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure?
No, I hope to read it someday. So I'm not going to watch it.
What Nintendo game are you looking forward to?
I don't think they have anything on the horizon I'm really looking forward to, except Zelda, but they've been quiet about that for quite a while. So, not really, yeah, I can't think of anything. I was looking forward to Mario Maker. I was really annoyed when I was working on the Dark Souls video and Mario Maker came out and people were talking about it, and now I haven't actually played it that much. I should get back to it though. I like the levels I made. I do. I think it's been more enjoyable for me to make and play my own levels in Mario Maker than it has been in other games of a similar type, which is a lot to that game's credit, you know, because that is such an important part of a game where you make and share stuff with each other. So I think the simplicity of Mario lends itself well to just sitting down and putting a few blocks down, and then you have something that's kind of just innately fun to play, because Mario is just fun to play anyway, you know? So, but yeah, I kind of trailed off there. No, I can't think of anything else I'm really looking forward to from Nintendo.
What's your favorite anime?
Kino's Journey. I've answered that question so many times now, though.
Yeah.
Kino's Journey, you should watch it. It's very good. Very, very good.
Do you think Konami will continue to make Metal Gear games?
Yeah, well, if they make games at all, some people don't think they'll ever make games again, so I'm not sure about that, but if they make games, they will make Metal Gear games. I'll say it that way. Because there is no franchise they have that's bigger. Except maybe Silent Hill, but you know, that one's been suffering for a while now, so it's kind of lost a lot of its value. Whereas Metal Gear hasn't lost much of its value.
Ever 17 versus Virtue's Last Reward. Which is better?
The thing I will say to the credit of Ever 17 is that I played it after Virtue's Last Reward and 999, and it's still, when I got to that final route, it was still mind-blowing. I will say, hands down, the final route in Ever 17 is the biggest single batch of mindfucks you will ever experience in a row in such a short space of time. It is just everything that you heard about in 4 different routes just comes together. It's perfect. It's perfect. But of course you can't ignore the fact that most of the game is actually a little bit boring, because you have to go through so much stuff over and over again to get there, and it kind of drip feeds you without you even realizing it. It kind of drip feeds you this important information, that of course comes into play in the last route. So, you know, it's still impressive though that, you know, despite exploring very similar themes and stuff like that, it was still so surprising and interesting after having already played 999 and Virtue's Last Reward. So I'd say if I played Ever 17 back in the day, and then I played Virtue's Last Reward and 999, they might suffer a little bit, but I didn't feel that the opposite was true, so there's a lot to be said for that. But I think as an overall package, I actually like Virtue's Last Reward the best, even if only because it's got that nice little flowchart thing, and it kind of plays with the idea more deeply than the others did, which mostly get into those concepts and stuff later on in the game towards the very end, whereas Virtue's Last Reward gets it out of the way early and messes around with it, which I think is a better approach overall.
I've almost finished my computer science major. Is programming in the video game industry a bad choice? Kind of serious question.
Yeah, some people might disagree. There's all sorts of answers to these questions, and it really depends on what you feel like. I will say, in my opinion, I'm a software developer, but there's all different fields even in software development, and all different areas you can go to and all that kind of stuff. I do relatively basic stuff, just applications, right? But I will say, from the time I spent with games and stuff, games programming seems to me like one of the hardest disciplines of programming that there is, period. So you need to be ready for very tough work if you want to get into games programming, especially if you want to get really deep into stuff. If you want to go work for Epic or the Unity guys, or if you want to get into engine stuff, that is really bleeding edge and really, really tough work. So you might be better off to start off in something a little easier and see how you feel about it, and whether or not you just like solving problems and getting into that guy's really good with the sniper rifle, I have to say. Covered a lot of ground with it. Not often you see that, Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, so it's very tough, But, if games are what you want to do, you only have one life, so, spend it wisely. Do what you want to do in life, and don't let anybody talk you out of it if it's what you really want. But if you do want to do it, just be prepared for because that's what games programming is, and that's why I always try to be respectful. Maybe sometimes I fail, but I always try to be respectful when I'm talking about games, in particular in the programming aspect, because Often games programmers get paid less than other programmers for doing harder work as well. They do more hours for less pay, and they do harder work, and they do it because they love games over everything else, you know? So you have to respect that, and if that's something you want to do with your life, go ahead and do it. I wish you luck either way, whatever you choose.
Oh, I think 3 people have asked this now. Have you played Drakengard?
No, why have 3 people asked that though?
I don't know.
It's a bit weird. Drakengard. That's the... Oh yeah. No, I haven't. I need to play Nier. I couldn't find a copy of it. Yeah, I need to play Nier, because everybody's going on about Nier. Then I'll try Drakengard.
Yeah, when Nier came out, I thought it sounded kind of bad, but everyone seems to think it's amazing.
Yeah, I think it suffered from, you know, marketing, and also I think it is one of those low budget sort of games that just ended up blowing people away to some degree. So yeah, I feel sorry for having ignored it. It was kind of on my to buy list for quite a while, because I do like dipping into those things. You know, things that people are going on about, but not necessarily getting a lot of attention. And I feel sorry that I left it so long now.
Who's your favourite voice actor?
Do I have one?
Who was the one from the Catherine stream?
Troy Baker?
Yeah.
No, not Troy Baker. In terms of just, you know, general stuff, I'd probably have to go with Billy West, because I love the voices that he does on Futurama, and they all seem so different and interesting. And I just had no idea until I was told that Farnsworth, Fry, Zap Brannigan and Zoidberg were all done by the same guy, as well as other voices and stuff. So I think that's really impressive. I love when a voice actor, when you hear a voice actor in something and you have no idea that it's them until you're told afterwards. I actually found that impressed me about Nolan North as well. When I was reading about Dota 2, and I read a bunch of the voices in Dota 2 are from him. I had no idea. And it just makes it all the more sad that a lot of his characters are Nathan Drake. Because he plays Meepo and Keeper of the Light and a bunch of other ones as well. I think he's Chaos Knight as well. So he does really well. So that really turned my opinion around on him, I have to say. Oh, that's why we were doing so poorly. We were missing someone. The sniper guy. He seemed good and everything. Alright, I'm going to change to my favourite weapon.
Ever play a Fire Emblem game?
Yeah, I played some of that newer one, but I couldn't really get into it. I think I tried one of the older ones ages ago as well. I prefer Advance Wars. I've played more of that. I've never completed one, but I've played more of that, and I kind of prefer that, having a larger number of units in strategy, turn-based strategy like that. What's that one?
What?
Wind Waker HD? More generally, what is your opinion on editing a game when re-releasing it? I used to be kind of okay with it, mostly because I think we all have these games that we like, and then we kind of dream of fixing up to those few little aspects about them that we don't like and making them better. At least I do. I would love to tinker around with all sorts of games that I feel are just missing those few little key ingredients. But over time, I think my opinion has shifted more to the idea that you should just preserve them. You should just preserve them exactly the way they are. Especially because you get something like... people keep bringing these games forward. The idea is to preserve them, but we're not really doing that a lot of the time. Is Wind Waker really much more preserved now on the Wii U than it was on the GameCube? Not really. I mean, more people own GameCubes than own Wii U's, And presumably, sooner or later, the game will need to be ported to something else when we get 4K resolution, you know, as the standard or something like that. So, if you imagine 20, 30 years down the line, or 50 years, or 100 years, what happens if we go from Wind Waker to Wind Waker HD, and then Wind Waker 4K comes along and makes a few little changes to Wind Waker HD, you know, a few little improvements there. And then the next one comes along, Wind Waker 8K, and makes a few little changes to Wind Waker 4K. How far removed are we eventually getting from the game that people wanted to preserve in the first place? That's my question. And that's my problem with it. So I would rather now, actually, I think I would just rather the games just be preserved exactly the way they are. But, you know, at the same time, I do like the fact that I can move stuff around on the thing, on the gamepad, on Wind Waker HD, you know? So it is hard to argue with improvements like that sometimes. But especially from a visual standpoint and stuff like that, I feel like they really should be preserved, because they are, especially when you're talking about something like the Wind Waker, it's kind of a part of history, you know? And it caused a lot of controversy back in the day, the change to those graphics. And so those graphics are an important part of gaming history, I think. And to mess around with them is a little bit weird. So yeah, I like when I play classic games and they're perfectly in sync with how the originals were, because I might not have had a chance to buy the originals or play the originals properly. So I do like being afforded that opportunity, you know, playing it without having these enhancements forced upon me or anything like that. Yeah, I had a feeling something weird was going on there. I hate the skate park anyway.
Favorite Metal Gear character?
I don't know.
The dog?
No, I don't like the dog all that much, to be honest. Thought I would like him more than I did. No, I don't really have one. Do you think Nintendo is going to blow it with the NX? No. I don't think they are. I hope they won't, and I don't think they are. Reason being, I think first of all that the NX is going to be backwards compatible with the Wii U. At least I think that would be the smart decision, and it might sound kind of dumb because nobody really cares all that much about the Wii U. In the grand scheme of things, I don't mean to diss it that much when I am playing a game on it right now, but yeah, nobody really cares about it all that much, right? But if you have a brand new console and then you can go, oh yeah, by the way, all these games that were on the Wii U are backwards compatible with it. If I don't own a Wii U and I'm thinking, well, should I buy an NX? That's a big enticement for me to buy it then, because I get an immediate library of things that I never had the chance to play, you know? So I think it would be wise for them to offer some kind of backwards compatibility with it. Although it would be a little bit awkward because of the tablet controller. If they do the thing that a lot of people suspect they're going to do, where they have a sort of handheld attached with the console, which is something I thought they should have done years ago, by the way. If they do something like that, then you can see how Wii U games would be backwards compatible, because it would have a little console thing with it, and then that could act as your screen. So that's what I would hope to see from them. Because I think that would work, or it would probably be the best strategy available because of the backwards compatibility draw. But I'm not sure. I could see them just porting some games over, like Smash Bros. I think there's going to be another edition of Smash Bros. At some point with all those DLC characters built in and stuff like that. So they could just port some of the games over pretty easily. Or they could produce stuff like Splatoon 2. I'm pretty sure, you know, somebody Nintendo was working on that already, considering what a success this one was. So they might just release some similar games instead, which wouldn't be too bad either, I suppose. But I'm not sure if it's going to take off in the way they hope, no matter what they do, whether they make the smart choice or not. It's a sad reality that, the Nintendo name just doesn't hold as much weight as it did back in the day, and I'm not sure whether or not that will, ever be the case again. So we'll just have to see. These things can come and go. Sony was doing terribly at the start of the last generation. They were in last place, and now they're breaking records. So the table could easily flip the other way around next gen. It's really hard to say.
Do you prefer physical or digital?
Prefer physical, but I'm not above digital if I really need to, or if it's the only option. I wasn't gonna not play Shin Megami Tensei 4 when we went digital, as unfortunate as it is. I do wish the game got a physical release, but if that's all I'm going to be offered, then I will go for it. Yeah. I go digital on PC. I don't buy physical PC games anymore.
Do you think the industry is on its way to another crash?
No. I think some of us wish it was. Some of us wish it was quite intently, but no, I don't think it is. Not with the... I mean, when I said the PS4 was breaking records, it's breaking the PS2's record. And that's insane. I don't know. It almost seems like people don't make a big enough deal about that, because I remember what it was like when the PS2 came out, and it was so hard to get one, and it was just everybody wanted one, everybody had one. To think that they're selling more than that at the minute is pretty crazy. So if anything, the games industry is probably getting bigger than it ever has, which is unfortunate in some ways, because the whole big budget thing, and it does have its own negative effects, but I don't think it's going to lead to a crash exactly.
What are your favorite movies?
I don't watch many movies. The two that always spring to mind when people ask me this question, I suppose, are Fight Club and Wall-E, which is some pretty opposite ends of the spectrum there, but yeah. I need to watch Inside Out. I haven't seen that yet. I wonder if that's as good. Wall-E and Up are so good. I would love for it to be on that level. I don't know if it is though. What else we got there?
Nothing yet. Oh, any books on game design you would recommend?
No. No, I did not read books, my friend. I learned it all with my own mind. Yeah, no. No, honestly, I don't read books on the subject. I think the best thing to do is just get out and play a bunch of games and think about them. Honestly, there probably are good books on it, but I haven't read them. But I do think you probably will learn more. Well, I'd say there's probably, yeah, you probably can. If you get a good book, you probably can learn a lot that way. But just get it into your head and play stuff outside your comfort zone and explore as much stuff as you can. And just think about it. Yeah, that's all I have on that, sorry.
What's your favorite Star Wars movie?
Well, I'm not Star Wars.
Not one of the newer ones.
Not one of the newer ones, no. I'll just go with the cliched Empire Strikes Back or Return of the Jedi. one of those two. Maybe A New Hope, actually. See, I haven't watched them in ages, but yeah, just one of the original three. I don't have a strong preference.
What's your opinion on fan service and censorship in games?
I don't like censorship, but to be honest, I don't really like fan service either.
I think it depends on the game.
Yeah, it depends on the game. I don't like censorship more than I don't like fan service. But censorship is often, like, it bores me, to be honest. A lot of the time it's just, you know, sexy things in games that aren't necessarily sexy. And it's like, you know, if you want to just get off on something, just go, you know, there's an endless wealth of porn on the internet and things for you to look at. And so I don't really like having it just shoved in my face when maybe I'm looking for something else. But censorship is way worse, though. It's just, you know, people should just be allowed to make what they want to make, and it's all fiction and stuff, so who really cares at the end of the day? I don't know. I don't.
Would you ever consider making a game yourself?
Yes, I want to someday. I do want to someday. But, you know, baby steps. I'm only leaving my job now, so maybe sometime 4 years from now, you know, we can have a game out there or something. And, you know, I think like any of us, I have some ideas about things that I'd like to do and stuff like that, but it's a matter of trying to find the time and, you know, just waiting for the stars to align, I suppose. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say on that. I would like to, I suppose. That's a succinct answer right there.
We're all asking about porn now.
Oh, there we go. One for you. What is your favourite game / game series?
Oh god. I always get kind of stuck when I'm asked this, but I would probably have to be Demon's Souls and well, just the Souls games in general. So
Speak
Bloodborne.
up there. You need to speak up.
Um,
You're retracting into yourself.
I get shy.
I know you do.
Right, Demon's Souls is my favourite game, basically. And I like Dark Souls and Bloodborne.
And what else do you like? Pokemon?
Yeah, I like Pokemon. That's kind of a given answer though, really, isn't it?
Is it? I'm really not paying attention here. Oh yeah, a lot of them think your taste is better than mine. We've discussed. You can only imagine how many times we've discussed this, in the Souls games and which ones we prefer and all that kind of stuff. So, I meant what I said at the end of the Dark Souls video, that I do think that Demon's Souls is better in a lot of ways and more polished, kind of more exactly what they wanted it to be. But there's a lot of little improvements and changes in Dark Souls that I just prefer it for. So there you go. You're gonna have to live with it, guys.
My favourite Pokemon. I did that test online.
No, don't give me that.
What?
Don't give me that. What's your favourite?
Yeah, I'm getting to that. My favourite type is Ghost type, so I always thought it would be a Ghost Pokemon, but apparently my favourite is Crobat. And that kind of...
come on.
What?
That's just some dumb internet thing.
No, it is. Let me finish. It's definitely Crobat because basically every game I can have a Crobat, I always seem to end up with one. So, yeah, that's my favourite.
It's not Crobat. Everybody ends up with a Crobat.
No, they don't.
That means nothing. Yes,
No,
they do.
don't.
Yes, they do. Because
How?
there's a million Zubats in the game and you end up with a Crobat.
Yeah, but it has to evolve through happiness.
Does it?
Yeah.
So who's your actual favourite, isn't it?
Crobat!
No, it's Chandelure, isn't it?
No, that was my favourite for a while, but I kind of flip-flop on Ghost types.
Okay. Ghost types.
Yeah. Crobat being decent, well, it's kind of middle of the road. I kind of just like it because I like it.
Oh, I probably shouldn't have done this one with the bucket, actually.
Gengar is really good. Gengar would probably be my second because it's really consistent, just consistently good. I actually quite like the Mega as well. I was kind of really not keen on the whole Mega thing, but Mega Gengar is pretty cool.
That's another match they lost because they didn't paint their base enough, by the way. A lot of that happening. I'm not playing particularly well. Do you play Pokemon competitively, or have you done so before?
I haven't, no, but I like breeding them competitively. But I'm too shy. I'm scared of people to play competitively.
You just give them away on the...
Yeah, I just give them away on the Wonder Trade.
To 10-year-olds who have no idea what they're receiving is actually any good.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Matthew, what are your thoughts on the Pokemon franchise? Particularly, I find the mechanics pretty good, but the campaign don't use them very well. I haven't played much Pokemon in ages, but I would say you're probably bang on with that assessment that the campaign... Because she's told me all kinds of stuff about Pokemon that I had no idea about. Basically, I played Pokemon when I played. In my defense, I started the series as a kid, alright? So, you know, like you're supposed to. But, basically I would get a, starter, and then I would just use that and sweep everything with the starter forever, and that was it. And the starter would be 20 levels above the next gym leader or something like that. So that's the way I played it. The way that she plays it is way more boring, but kind of more interesting as well, almost, because she actually fights things properly and uses status effects and swaps Pokemon out for the best situation and all this kind of stuff, No, I did do some of that, but, not a lot of it, so... I don't know why I'm inking things. I'm in the wrong game mode.
What game have you always wanted to play but never had the time to?
Deus Ex. Deus Ex. Also, I was dying to play both Infinifactory and TIS 100 until recently. I only got back to them recently. So, I had a lot of fun playing TIS 100 recently.
Is there a game that focuses on narrative that you enjoy?
I'm sure there is. It's hard to say. It's hard to say what exactly defines focusing on narrative. I'm having trouble thinking of any great examples off the top of my head, to be honest. I don't know. I really don't know.
Read any manga?
Yes, I read all of Berserk for the Dark Souls video. We both do research for the Souls videos because, as she just said, they're her favourite. So actually a lot of what I said in the Demon Souls video should be credited to her, but it's just easier for me to just talk about it. She had already read all of Berserk and told me everything in Dark Souls that was, relevant. But I said, you know what, since Dark Souls is one of my favourite games, I'm going to have to get out there and just read this whole thing anyway. Just to make sure that I don't miss anything. And there actually was a few things in there that I didn't even bother putting into the video. I can't remember them now, but I know there's at least one thing I left out which was kind of interesting.
There's like the snake thing in the first chapter.
Yeah, there's that. Yeah, the snake armor in the very first chapter.
I always forget about him.
That he looks like the Snake Man from... Yeah. I read all of Berserk. Honestly, I was waiting for a new capture card at the time because, or was it a new capture card? I bought new capture cards. I bought a new graphics card for this video. Don't even start me on the fucking mess. Anyway, yes, I read all of Berserk. I'm trying to think of what it was because I know there was something I was kind of saying to myself the other day. I wish I had put that in. I forget what it was. Oh, I know what it was. It was I talked about the strange doll having a mind of its own, and I mentioned the One Ring, and I do think it is more like the One Ring, kind of anyway. But it's also like the Behelits from Berserk, and I thought of that at the time, but I didn't put it in the video. And then I saw somebody commenting on it afterwards, and I was thinking, oh yeah, I should have put that in so people kind of know. Yeah, it's funny, if you do a 6-hour video and then don't say something, people assume you don't know about it, even if you really should. Like the dragon butt on the bridge.
Yeah.
The fact that you can knock that off, I knew about that.
Sure, we were talking about it when you were doing it in the video.
Yeah.
Everything just kind of, it gets cut a lot of the time.
Yeah, it gets cut. Because you just think, people know this already. Is there much point in saying it? So when I said something like it was there to block the player, what I meant was, that's what they probably intended for it to do. But that, maybe it didn't actually work out that way, because I think it's a glitch that you can knock it off, or you can get it to stand up, Anyway, that was a long aside, but there you go.
I think a couple of people have asked this now, but about your Dark Souls 2 video and whether or not I agree. I would say my opinion on Dark Souls 2 is probably harsher than Matthew's.
Yeah.
Which might surprise some of you, but I did not have very nice things to say about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if it had been me making the video, it would have been a good bit worse.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Bit of trivia actually about the Dark Souls 2 video. There's a bit, I think I've mentioned this before, but I took the credit for it, but right at the end of making the Dark Souls 2 video, one of the things I wanted to demonstrate was how if you shoot the Queen in Dark Souls 2, nothing happens, whereas if you shoot Guinevere, I always get Guinevere and Gwendolyn mixed up, if you shoot Guinevere in Dark Souls, something happens, and it's like, Dark Souls is a little bit better because
I forgot about this.
Something happens if you shoot Guinevere, whereas nothing happens if you shoot the Queen. And because of the way Dark Souls works with all of its auto saving and all that kind of stuff, we had to start a new character and get it to that point where you could shoot Guinevere, because we were already past it or had already killed her or whatever the case was. So I was so tired from working on the video, it was basically finished at that point. I outsourced it to her, and she started up a new character in Dark Souls just so we could get to the point where we could shoot Guinevere.
Yeah.
For about, I think it's in the video for about 6 seconds or less. So yeah, there you go.
I dressed up in your armor and everything. It was like a cosplay. I have very little involvement in any of the games besides the ones in the Soul series.
Yeah.
And really that's just because, there's so much stuff to wade through, and you can make mistakes really easily just from not knowing one little item description. So it's kind of better to have, more than one person working on it. The Dark Souls 2 DLC, I haven't played it. I'm kind of not interested in it because it left a very bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah, I'm just not interested in it either. I've heard good things, but I just can't be bothered to go and see if they're true or not. I have so many other games that I want to play anyway, and especially now, Bloodborne has kind of scratched that itch again, so there's really not much point. Oh.
I'm in another video, the Catherine video. It's very
You're
old
in a couple of them.
Yeah. The very old one. I'm the other sheep. I think I killed you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the other sheep
in the Catherine video. You're in the Mario 3D World.
Oh, don't tell him about that.
She's Luigi in the Mario 3D World video, which is hilarious if you watch that with her, with that in mind, that she's Luigi. Actually, there's a hilarious bit in that where I kill one of my friends as well, and I made sure to get it in. You kind of don't notice it in the video because it's just in the chaos of the multiplayer, but there's this really great bit where a friend of mine who's playing Toad, he drops this mushroom in front of himself because he's small to try and get big, and I'm playing as Mario and I just kind of obliviously run across his mushroom and take it on him, and then as if that's not bad enough, I kind of circle back around, accidentally pick him up and drag him into a tube where he gets killed because he's not big. And yeah, I watched that clip in the footage and this thing just stuck out at me, so I had to make sure that I got that into the video, which was surprisingly hard to do because you want to try and make sure that it does line up with the commentary, but I just needed to get that bit in there. So nobody notices it, I don't think, but I look at that whenever I watch that video and I get a good laugh out of it. I think you've been in more stuff as well.
I think anything pretty much with multiplayer, it's kind of handier.
Some of them not though. You weren't in the.
Yeah.
Can't think what else. Yeah, maybe that is it. Yeah. Good weekend if you don't blow up the car.
No, it's not. Well, fireworks are illegal, so you know you have to make.
Yeah, you have to make do. Yeah. I'm assuming it's back if people are asking questions again.
Yeah. Someone said we ate all the horses during the famine, but I'm pretty sure that was just last year.
Last year?
When we ate all the horses.
Did we?
These burgers.
Oh yeah, that wasn't last year.
Was it?
No, that's all the news now. The years are slipping by. Yeah, we had like some contamination thing in the meat where there was horse meat and stuff. So, yeah.
Oh god, they know about the boot now.
What boot?
From the 3D World video.
What boot?
Big green boot. I was scared.
Oh yeah, that was her. Yeah. That wasn't actually in the video because it was just a co-op session that we did while I was still playing the game. Just casually. And yeah, she tried to run me down with an ice skate. To be fair, I annoyed her by constantly jumping on her head and taking the crown and stuff. But I think that's a pretty mean thing to do.
It was provoked.
Yeah.
It was kind of mean though. I was really kind of shocked at myself afterwards.
Yeah.
What's the most underrated game in your opinion?
Am I allowed to say the Wonderful 101?
Sure.
Am I allowed? Because it's the Wonderful 101. The Wonderful 101. It's that one.
Do you speak another language?
No. I would like to, but I don't.
Why do you stream on YouTube instead of Twitch?
Because it just doesn't work on Twitch. I don't know why. I don't know if it's my ISP or if it's Twitch themselves. I've contacted my ISP about it. They say they're not throttling me, but I'm pretty sure the rep I was speaking to doesn't know what throttling was. Didn't know what throttling was, so hard to take that very seriously when they say that. So I really don't know.
Do you think it's a good idea?
I don't speak Irish, by the way.
Do you think it's a good idea for a game to sacrifice playability for atmosphere, i.e., making characters harder to control if you learn more?
Yeah, well, it really does depend on the game and on the genre. It's tough to say. I kind of don't like questions like that because they assume that there's a right answer for, you know? Whereas I feel like it's more of a game-by-game basis that you need to ask and answer these questions. So, I would say I feel it is appropriate sometimes, but obviously for a lot of games it's not.
What programming languages do you know?
See, the thing about programming languages is I kind of don't think that you really learn them all that much. I know a bunch of things. We primarily programmed in Java in college. Don't know why. Presumably because a lot of places use it and it's not too bad for teaching stuff. But we did some C++ there. And then there's all sorts of little esoteric things like, what was it we did? HLSL, which is a high-level shader language, which is just a special language by NVIDIA for making shaders, like pixel shaders and stuff like that. And then there's another equivalent called GLSL, and in work I mainly use Python, so I think mostly you just learn how to program and then the languages sort of come afterwards and you just swap as you need to. But yeah, Python, I use Python in work, but it is easier than other stuff like C++ in a lot of ways because it's slower and you don't have to worry about quite as much stuff. So I would say if I swapped over to C++, today, I would have a bit of trouble with it because, you know, I'd have to get back into the whole pointer thing and all that and to really get the most out of it. But those are just the kind of things that you just learn as you need to. So.
Did you have to do any calculus or physics engineering courses during your college years?
I had to take calculus, yes. I wasn't very good at it though. Maths has never been my strong suit. So I like the effects that you can get with maths in things, you know, like with HLSL and stuff like that. But I'm not very good at it myself.
Have you ever played any of the Fallout games? What are your thoughts?
Played Fallout 3, I haven't played the other ones. I do want to play the other ones, but again, it's one of those things of trying to find time for it. I thought Fallout 3 was alright. I don't see... it's actually a good example of... oh, that was bad. We nearly lost because of someone on our own team, did we? Oh no, it's all the way over on the other side. Sorry, I'm very confused. Good thing, I don't know if you've read the thing I put up on Patreon recently, but it's a good example of one of the things I was saying, you know. I've played Fallout 3, but I wouldn't be... I think I completed it. Yeah, completed the main story anyway. But I wouldn't be comfortable reviewing it because I haven't played Fallout 1 and 2. And I think that, you know, if I haven't played those games, then, you know, certain things in Fallout 3 might impress me more than they should. Or, you know, if I had played Fallout 1 and 2, I might be really disappointed in certain aspects of Fallout 3. As I know some people are. Oh, we lost that in the end. That sucks. So... I would like to play them and only then would I feel comfortable really talking about it, you know? But I would say my experience having played it and not played other Fallouts, oh man, I did so bad. I'm going to change from the bucket, it's not good for these maps. Having played Fallout 3 and not playing the others, I thought it was alright. I didn't think it was mind-blowingly good, but I thought it was okay. Kept me engaged. I liked it more than the Elder Scrolls stuff that I've played. But again, I haven't played much of that either, so...
Have you played the Uncharted series, and what are your thoughts?
Yes, I have, and yeah.
Would you say your thoughts have declined over time?
Yeah, but I was never really that fond of them. I was never really that fond of them in the first place. I thought they were okay, you know. Like it's hard to dislike a game like Uncharted when it has such like technical skill involved in it, you know. Especially that train sequence in the second one. That was so good. But yeah, I went back to replay it, and I got really annoyed at it. I tweeted about it at the time. I got really annoyed when I played the first one again because I'm just sick of enemies with hit scan weapons, and I never really liked it in the first place, but it's just so worn out its welcome with me that I'm just not interested in playing games like that anymore. I'd say the reason I like The Last of Us more than Uncharted was because I felt like the stealth and stuff was more viable, so I didn't really have to put up with that bullshit quite so much. So that's one of the reasons why I liked it more than Uncharted.
As someone who rarely plays RPGs, what would you recommend?
If you're talking about JRPGs, Shin Megami Tensei. Oh boy, do I have the series for you. Shin Megami Tensei. Start with Persona 3, play Persona 4, and then go back and play Nocturne, Digital Devil Saga. I feel like I'm forgetting one on the PS2. Am I? Anyway, the PS2 ones are good. Yeah, Shin Megami Tensei. Oh my god. I used to like JRPGs when I was younger, and then I fell out of the genre, and now I've gone back and played all these Shin Megami Tensei games, and I'm like, well, the genre was never dead. I thought it was dead because I just lost interest in the newer Final Fantasies and stuff. And it turns out it wasn't. It was just elsewhere the whole time. And I didn't even know. And I feel like I kind of missed out a little bit by not playing them sooner. So if you're talking about JRPGs, Shin Megami Tensei. If you're talking about RPGs, I have no idea. I don't really play that many other RPGs. I don't play stuff like the Witcher and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, someone was asking, are you going to play The Witcher 3?
No, because I haven't played 1 or 2.
Yeah.
This is a recurring problem with me. See, I wasn't exaggerating the other day. Yeah, I had so much stuff to play. Yeah.
Have you ever played the Yakuza games?
No. I'm actually really not all that interested in them, to be honest. Mob stuff just kind of bores me, so I don't know if I'll get around to it. I've heard great things, but as I said, I'm only just getting around to Grand Theft Auto now, so Yakuza will be a while yet.
How did we feel when Iwata passed away? To be honest, I don't know about you, but I didn't feel that much. Like, it was sad, but it's not like I knew the guy personally. Like, it's always kind of sad when a figure like that passes away, but I think the response online was a bit overdrawn.
Yeah, it was a bit extreme, but I was surprised at how sad it made me. I'm not going to say, you know, I was crying or anything like that, but it seemed kind of sudden.
Yeah.
It seemed like they didn't give people that much heads up. They kind of said to people he was sick before, but then you just go online at one point and Iwata's dead. And it's, you know, it would have been nice to have a chance to prepare, or even for people to just say things to him.
Yeah.
I think that's the saddest thing about it, actually. I don't know if it's a cultural thing or not, but there's so many people out there that would have really loved the opportunity that he would be missed and that he made an impact on their lives, you know? Even just with things like the way he saved Smash Bros, I think it was, and Earthbound and stuff like that, you know, great games, and he had a very good strong hand in making them actually happen. So I think that's what saddens me about it. And of course there's the whole fact that Nintendo had a pretty poor E3 that year, and I found that quite sad as well.
Yeah,
that
that
he had to go out on that note when really it's probably not his fault, and it you know, a large part of it is probably because they're gearing up to move on from the Wii U and try something else instead.
Yeah.
And so that's why they had a weak E3 and people really bombed them over it. Which is like, people seem to have people do seem to give Nintendo a bit more leeway than other companies. But it felt like the straw had finally broken all of a sudden, and it just happened at the worst possible time. So I think that's what's sad about it.
When you finished Earthbound recently and his name came up on the credits, that actually made me a bit sad.
Yeah, that made me sad as well. Seeing his name in the credits at the end, yeah. But you know, at the same time, and by the way, I did just play Earthbound recently for the first time, finished it. At the same time, it made me a little happy to see his name in the credits though, because this is something that's, you know, endured. Like, there's people like me who never got the opportunity to play Earthbound, and they've gone back 20 years after it came out and are experiencing it brand new, you know, and it's, you know, anybody would be lucky to have a legacy like that. So in a way, you know, it's more something to celebrate than be sad about in a lot of ways, you know.
Were you disappointed with the new Witcher and Yakuza?
You mean 4?
Yeah.
No. I was disappointed by Smirk and the new demon designs. But no, I wasn't disappointed by it. I love the setting, and it's not surprising that Kaneko was responsible for that. The brilliant man, I have to say. I absolutely love the setting and the soundtrack of Shin Megami Tensei 4.
Can I tell him about my picture?
Yeah, we have a picture of Kaneko in our apartment.
Yeah.
Kaneko is a personal hero
Yeah,
in here. Yeah, so
I have a picture of him and I look at it when I'm sad and it cheers me up.
it's a picture of him rolling around the flowers in his soup. That's pinned up on a notice board thingy that we have there.
So it's Bloodborne.
It's been there for about 2 years. So I hope Kaneko comes back from the flower someday. I haven't played Xenoblade yet, no. I bought it. People keep telling me to play it, and then I go, maybe I'll play Xenoblade, and then I kind of look at a little bit of it, and I go, that's kind of not my thing. I don't think it's my thing. So.
What are you expecting of the new Persona?
Great things.
Yeah, it looks good.
Great things. It does look good. It looks like they tricked Atlas into giving them a huge Persona budget, went off and made Shin Megami Tensei 5 with it instead and just didn't tell them. To some degree anyway. I mean, I know it's not Shin Megami Tensei 5, but it is the most it has been Shin Megami Tensei since Persona 3. So, just don't tell anyone at Atlas. Shh. Okay? Let them keep pretending it's a Persona game. Now, I know it will be a Persona game, but, you know, it looks great. It really does look great. So, and they recently came out and said it's going to be the most voluminous, largest Persona game they've made yet, which is pretty crazy. So, you would think with the increased kind of fidelity of the graphics and stuff that they might have to scale some things down, but it sounds like they're not even doing that. So, I'm trying not to get too excited for it, but it's probably the game I'm most looking forward to at the moment. I wasn't sad about its delay though. I like when developers get as much time as they need, so I'm really happy to see that it got delayed actually. I would rather get a good game forever than, you know, blah blah blah. Blah blah blah.
You've said that
The
before.
Miyamoto's quote. I'll just say it, that's my shorthand now in future. The Miyamoto quote. You know the one. There you go.
Would you consider making a video about a specific game mechanic as opposed to a specific game?
I feel like there's enough. I have a little bit, yeah, but I feel like there's enough people doing that. And like I said, one of the reasons I don't really like doing stuff like that is because I feel like things are really on a game by game basis. Just even for example, the two games I streamed tonight, Until Dawn and Splatoon, they're so different from each other. You know, could you really apply a single rule to both of these games? Not a hope. Not a hope. It wouldn't be good for either of them because they're so different. So, I prefer to approach things on a game by game basis for that reason. I'm not opposed to the idea though. I do know that people like those videos and I like them myself. They are a nice change of pace. But I prefer doing stuff on a game by game basis instead.
How important are a game's graphics?
Not that important. Somewhat important. Very important. Rarely important. I don't know. Again, that's a game by game thing, I think. What I think is important is to try and go for something that won't age terribly. Like if you do something hyper realistic, it's just going to look awful in a few years, you know? Something like this, Splatoon, is probably going to age pretty gracefully. Even though, you know, it doesn't look amazing, you know, right now. But it'll age well, and I think that's more important than just looking good. But that's something that I like in games, is I like when they age well and there's something that you can go back and play years and years later.
Favorite game console?
It's got to be the PS2. I don't think you can match that library.
Not yet, anyway.
Yeah. The SNES would be up there, though.
Ever considered doing Oddworld videos?
I almost feel like at this point I have done Oddworld videos. By talking about it in Bioshock and yeah, I think I brought it up again at another point. Did I at some point? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I don't really want to do Oddworld videos. I feel like I've talked about that series enough somehow already. So I'm not going to be getting into that.
Are you excited for Guardian's return?
Not as excited as I thought I would be, but I think it's just because the reality hasn't hit me yet that it will actually come out this time, presumably. Yeah, it's more of a I'll believe it when I see it situation after this long.
What are your thoughts on Shovel Knight?
I didn't see the hype, but now that Plague of Shadows is out, I'm seeing it a little bit more. People got very, very hyped about Shovel Knight, and just I think they talked it up a little too much, and I certainly enjoyed my time with it. Yeah, maybe I was being a bit too harsh on it. I don't know. I certainly enjoyed my time with it anyway, but I didn't think, oh, this is amazing. This is the best thing ever. But Plague of Shadows was good. The story in it was good as well, actually. It was really nice and cute and stuff like that, you know, which was surprising in and of itself. If it gets, which it's supposed to, if it gets 2 more expansions of a similar quality, then that will really boost it up into something that's notable to me. Absolutely. I thought Plague Knight was a really great addition, and you really controlled differently and stuff like that, and made the levels feel quite different. So if the other two are as different as Plague Knight is, and they keep that quality up, then I think it'll be something really memorable and worthwhile. It's a shame it's taken so long to get to that point, though.
Have you ever had an extreme change of opinion about it?
The one that springs to mind, because it's probably because I did a video on it, is Catherine, where my opinion on the different elements in the game reversed after doing a second playthrough. First time through, I liked the story and didn't like the puzzles so much, and then when I played it again, the puzzles really shone for me, and I really got a feel for them and started to see how brilliant they were. And I didn't like the story so much when I saw how little impact I had on any of it. That was a pretty big flip. I'm trying to think, do you know any other games I flipped on? Bayonetta. I partially blame the PS3 for this, but I did not get into Bayonetta at all when it first came out. And I only really gave it a go partially because the Wonderful 101 grabbed me so much. I kind of went back and I tried Bayonetta again when it came out on the Wii U, and the 60 FPS really helped as well. But I love Bayonetta now. I love it. Like, I really love it. I think it's great. Whereas I didn't like it at all before. Partially because the setting didn't grab me, you know. I didn't like it as much as Devil May Cry in that regard. But yeah, I think it's great. I think it's fantastic. So I would heap praise on Bayonetta now. So
what do you think of the Devil May Cry series?
It's been so long since I've played any of them, except the first one, that I couldn't really comment. I would say now, if I was to go back to, I know people love 3 and 4, if I was to go back to it, I would probably prefer Bayonetta to 3 and 4, but I haven't played them in so long that I'm not going to make that claim. I do have the HD collection thing here, so I've been meaning to go back to play 3. I've played some of 1 already. Yeah, but it's been such a long time that I wouldn't be able to say. I never finished DMC4. I just gave up on it. I found it too boring. I know that's got like a great combat system, but I only got so far into it and I just switched it off. So there's a lot to be said about a game needing to grab you with its setting and stuff like that. You know, good mechanics will only go so far to some degree.
Who's your favourite protagonist in the game?
Wonder Red. Yeah. A lot of the answers to the questions you will ask me will come back to the Wonderful 101. Yeah. I mean that. Wonder Red is my favourite protagonist.
Actually, I think someone earlier asked you if Nintendo released a Wonder Red amiibo, would you buy it?
No. I've thought about that a lot, and no, I wouldn't, because I dislike amiibos that much. But it would be very tempting. And when I think about it, when I think about that possibility, I see the appeal of amiibos. But that's the only time I see the appeal, is when I think about a Wonder Red amiibo. Otherwise, I couldn't care less about it, to be honest. It's just not something that appeals to me at all.
What are your interests outside of video games?
Can I get back to that in a minute? By the way, I want to say the reason I like Wonder Red, right? You get me started on the Wonderful 101, you'll have a hard time getting me to stop. But I love that Wonder Red. Whenever he's talking to people, I think he does this in the entire game. Anytime he comes across like an enemy or a boss or anything like that, he always gives them a chance to lay down their arms and stop doing what they're doing. Stop being bad guys. He always talks to them first. That's why he says diplomacy has failed. It's not just like a catchphrase or something. He always actually talks to the enemy and says, can we, come to some kind of agreement on this, or will you stop, or something like that, And that's just so heroic, isn't it? It's not something you really see all that often in games. He actually gives the enemy a chance, and especially when you know some of the story, which I won't spoil, but he does it in at the start of the game, which is especially impressive. At the start of the game, he's at his most heroic. when he's dealing with I forget what his name is, because he gives him a chance to stop as well. He gives him a chance for diplomacy, and diplomacy never works out, but he always tries anyway. So it never works out because it's an action game, but he always tries, and that's what's good about Wonder Red, among lots of other things. He's funny and stuff as well. Yeah, so he's my favourite character.
I would say your love for Wonderful goes very deep.
Yes, it does. It really does. I love that game so much.
Opinions on Shin Megami Tensei.
Wait, there was something I had to come back to.
Oh, your interests outside of games.
I don't really have any, do I? Let's just be honest about that.
Someone in the chat said that your interest outside of video games is Wonder Red.
Yeah, I can't think of anything major. I don't know.
I can't think of anything either.
Yeah.
Are you any good at Smash Bros. Melee?
Yes, it's been quite a while since I played it. I was pretty good at it. I suck at the newer ones though. I suck at them. But I always won when we played Melee. Always. There's a friend of mine and he beat me at Brawl a lot. You know, why don't we go back to some Melee here? We'll try it out. And I kicked his ass. And yeah, I'm happy about that because I know which one is faster and more competitive. So yeah, I suck at the other ones though. Really suck. Surprisingly bad at them.
What's your favourite boss fight in Wonderfuls?
That's what we call Wonderful 101, by the way. Wonderfuls.
It comes up that much. We just kind of shortened it.
What's my favourite boss fight? I'm doing so bad in this game. Favourite boss? I don't know. I really don't know. It might be the one out on the ocean where the thing is chasing you. It's probably Vorken though. I do think the frame rate sucks during the Vorken fights, which kind of sucks, but I like the Vorken fights a lot, especially now that I've gotten better at them and I can beat him without taking damage, or at least ukemiing the damage away. I like them a lot.
Shin Megami Tensei fight? Oh yeah. What's your opinion on Shin Megami Tensei Crossbow Fire Emblem?
It looks awful.
It does. It looks really bad.
It looks so bad. It looks incomprehensibly bad to me. It's funny because one of the reasons I only played Nocturne for the first time probably about 2 years ago now, and one of the reasons I fell in love with Nocturne was because it went against pretty much every JRPG thing that I hated. Particularly, you know, the battles. The battles are just so fast. You press the attack button, Demi-Fiend is already punching the enemy before your thing has even moved on to the next character. And so, it's so fast, so... And then I watched that thing, you know, whatever you call it, that game. And, what is it? Genai Ibunroku #FE? Yeah, anyway. I watched Genai Ibunroku #FE, and there's that idle attack where they just do this stupid animation forever before they actually do damage to the enemy. And I just thought to myself, you know, I don't need this in my life anymore. This is a large part of the reason why I just don't play Final Fantasy. So, no, I don't want big, massive, flashy attack animations that go on forever. And no, I don't want to play a game about idols. No. And I'm so glad that I wasn't interested in that game in the first place, because anytime I see anything about that game, my heart goes out to anybody who was looking forward to it, because the way that it was advertised versus what came out at the end of the process is just so far away from what anybody could have imagined. The game is literally a fusion accident. That's what it is. They tried to stick two things together, and fucking Miko fucked it up, and out came some horrible abomination that everybody has to just take and accept into their party and life and try and live with and move on.
I saw a really good question there a minute ago. I kind of want to ask it myself. Wonder Red dressed as Wonder Pink or Wonder Pink dressed as Wonder Red?
Well, what's the question?
That's the question.
That's the question?
That's the question. I know what I'd pick.
Wonder Pink dressed as Wonder.
Has to be that.
Yeah, it's gotta be. Oh man, this guy. Get it away from our own base, man. I hate when people do this. I did it a tiny bit earlier, but if they pick that up now, they get free distance on it. Nah. He's practically got a path to the end now. Yeah, whoever that was lost us that game.
Do you hate the harem genre?
I haven't watched the harem genre, so I couldn't really hate it.
I think it's overdone. I think at any point that it could have been good.
Someone asked you to speak up.
Yeah, I'm trying. I think if it was ever good, it was a long time ago, and it's long past that point where harem is good.
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
Oh, is it that again?
No, I don't think so. I think we'd be seeing a lot more spam if it was. It probably won't go down for another half hour or so.
Oh, do you prefer... Oh, you can see that.
Do you agree with the proportion of hatred towards the reboot of Devil May Cry? I never played it. I figured I wouldn't like it, so I avoided it. And to this day, I have not played it, and I don't plan to. Do I prefer Bayonetta 1 or 2? 1. But I haven't played enough of 2 to make that a sort of definitive statement. I prefer how much more difficult 1 is, and especially I preferred the secret missions in 1 compared to 2. I thought the ones in 2 were just kind of boring, whereas the ones in 1 were super hard and actually taught you advanced techniques without you kind of realizing it. You had to, if you couldn't beat it, you realized you were missing something and you had to work out what you were missing, and I like that about it.
Ever enjoy any racing games? I don't think so.
Wipeout.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I love the Wipeout games.
Did you tell people about the
I think I
zone
told them about that before. Yeah, I got to zone 99 on one of the levels and died about 1 second before it would have swapped over to zone 100. And I haven't played it since.
I was there, it was terrible.
That always happens to me in games. I always get, you know, if you have to get 100 of something, I'll get 99. I'm always just one short.
Have you ever played a Monster Hunter game?
Played a demo of one. So no. No.
I've kind of been put off Monster Hunter by Dark Souls 2, which is probably unfair, but whatever.
Some people might not understand why that is, because a director from... One of the directors of Dark Souls 2 was a Monster Hunter director, isn't that right?
Yeah, I think so.
Is it the one that was left, though? Because there's two. Is it Yu Tanimura, or is it the other guy?
You know, to be honest, I'm not sure, and that's probably unfair for me to really be judging it based on that. But I just keep thinking back to those fucking cat things in Dark Souls 2. Those
Cat feet.
The cat feet in Dark Souls 2, and that just pisses me off. It's like, who thought that was a good idea?
Yeah, the art direction was pretty lacking. Don't get her started on Dark Souls 2, guys. We don't talk about Dark Souls 2 in this house. And you thought I hated it. No. I'm like, disappointing, but I'm moving on with my life. She just dwells. Yeah.
It was really bad, though.
Yeah, okay. See, I don't think these, of all people, need any more talk on that subject matter, you know what I mean?
Someone keeps asking, have you been to a Symphony of the Goddesses concert? I don't know what that is.
It's a Zelda concert? No, I haven't. I was at Video Games Live, though, years ago. I enjoyed it. And actually, I think it was great for the orchestra as well. I was only talking about this the other day. Because a lot of the orchestras these days, they you know, when they play classical music, which is what they're mostly playing, or they're playing, you know, opera, or honestly, I actually don't even know what they play most of the time. But I gotta imagine it's sort of fusty when they play, where people are sort of sitting there and they just, you know, clap at the end, and whereas when they played for video games live, they tell you at the start of the concert, you can interrupt, you can scream, you can shout, you know, react to things, tell people that, you know, show us that you're excited for the next song that we play, and stuff like that. So they say that to you so that you know that's okay to start clapping and stuff. And I think that the orchestra loved it, because they all had these smiles on their faces whenever everybody was really excited about something. They were all smiling and look around at each other and going, wow, these guys are really into this, you know. So I think it's great for the orchestra. I haven't been back to another one in ages, but that's what I think back on, weirdly enough. When I think back on it, I think about how much the orchestra loved it. I liked it as well. They had that guy who plays the Mario themes really fast at it when I was there, and he got a standing ovation. He was playing it blindfold and stuff as well.
What's your favourite video game soundtrack, kind of related?
I like so many of them. In terms of sheer volume that I've listened to, it has to be Shin Megami Tensei 4.
That's a really good one.
Yeah, it goes on in this apartment every other night. Yeah. You know, after the sun goes down, the Shin Megami Tensei 4 soundtrack comes on.
The Catherine soundtrack is really good as well.
Yeah, Atlas are just really good at soundtracks.
Normally it's kind of iffy remixing classical songs, but they did a really good job.
Yeah, they did an amazing job with it. Amazing. I actually, one thing I often think back on that I maybe should have said in that video, but I didn't, is mostly because I haven't actually watched it, but I've heard, you know, Deadwood. I haven't watched Deadwood, right?
I watched Deadwood.
Alright, well, I haven't watched Deadwood, but oh no, they're gonna win. Yeah, we lost.
Sucks.
I haven't watched Deadwood, but I heard about it. Oh, here I am talking about Deadwood. We have a chance for a comeback. No, I'm gonna focus on this for a minute. Give me a minute.
I'm going to answer a question then.
I want to make this happen.
Someone asked why would I contribute to the channel in a more, you know, speaking manner. I'm kind of shy. This is kind of a one-off for me. Mostly just to make the stream more comfortable for Matthew today, because the game seemed kind of boring by himself.
Well, I heard it was better with multiple people, and I think that was definitely true in the end. So I'm glad that we did it.
Yeah, it's unlikely you'll hear me speaking in any of the videos. Not officially anyway.
Come on, we can do it. We did it! Yes! That feels good. That feels good. Sorry. She reenacted her Oswald scream about 20 times today.
No, the Oswald thing was kind of worse. That was pretty bad. I think you told me to be quiet because it was quite late.
Yeah. What were we talking about before that? Oh yeah, Deadwood. Yeah, so we were talking about the Catherine soundtrack. And I've never watched Deadwood, but I know in Deadwood the people in it curse, like they say fuck and all this, and apparently they didn't back in the day. And apparently the scriptwriter said that the reason they do that is because back then they used to say stuff like dag nabbit or whatever, or something along those lines, something equally you know, tame to us. So they spruced it up to modern day standards so that the cursing would have the kind of impact now that it did then. And that's what the Catherine soundtrack made me think about. It sounded like it was really respectful towards the original composition.
Yeah.
It was just trying to make it have the kind of impact today that it would have had back then. And I think maybe some people will find that an annoying statement or whatever, but I do think that classical music does lose a little bit of its impact today because of all the extra stuff that we have these days, you know? It probably doesn't sound as impressive to us as it did back then. So that's what the Catherine soundtrack kind of sounded like to me.
You kind of have to make it more suitable for a game as well. Like, it's all well and good to have classical music in your game, but if it doesn't work, you know. Oh, the corpses in the Mondo. That was actually a pretty big argument.
It resolved itself pretty quickly, but we were nearly yelling at each other.
Which is pretty rare.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. We have argued a bit about the Souls games before, but I think that one was heated because we've been working so long on the Dark Souls video. We were both getting kind of agitated with it at that point.
Yeah.
Oh, have you played any Zone of the Enders?
Yeah, I played the first one. I haven't watched Legend of the Galactic Heroes. I've heard good things, but I know there's 200 episodes or something, so I haven't got into it.
Have you watched Legends of Galactic Heroes?
That's what I just answered.
Oh, right.
Yeah, pay attention.
I don't know what it is, so.
It's that anime with the people in space, and they all look
Oh, yeah, that
rather
really clears it up for
bulky,
me.
and you know those guys, they look bulky, and they have the nice hair. There's like a red head and a blonde,
What?
and I don't know.
I'd probably know it if I saw it.
Yeah.
He is actually a redhead.
Yeah.
But it's the nice kind of red. Who do you kill first? Well, who do you kill first? I kill Smo first, because I think Smo's a dick.
I used to kill Ornstein first, now I kill Smo first. It's easier that way. I thought it was harder that way, but it's easier that way.
What's my favourite anime? That's actually kind of a hard question. I think I would kind of say Mushishi. I've only really started watching it fairly recently, but I really like it.
That surprises me.
Does it?
Yeah, I knew you liked it. I didn't know you liked it that much.
It's comfy. It's nice to watch.
Hmm.
Plus, I think it's kind of rare. Like, you don't really see stuff like that anymore.
This seems like the best path if you have fast running speed. Seems like it kind of blindsides them. I don't have good running speed though. Mushishi, really?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's good, but I really expected a different answer. I don't know what I expected, but
Cowboy Bebop or something?
Cowboy Bebop or, yeah, Space Dandy.
I do love Space.
You love Space Dandy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I'd go back to Mushishi a lot. Like, you haven't really finished it. But I would watch an episode of Mushishi really easily.
Yeah. No, it's easy. It's so easy to watch.
Yeah.
It is great. My favourite anime is Kino's Journey. I answered that earlier. You should all watch it. It's really good. Really good. Better than Mushishi.
Can I define what I mean by comfy in regards to Mushishi? It's the sort of thing where you can watch it in bed and it's just really nice.
Yeah. It's just easy to watch. It's
Yeah.
just easy watching. Like, you know the way some music is easy listening? Mushishi is easy watching. It really is.
What other anime have I watched? I actually watched...
Loads.
Yeah, I actually watch a good bit. I'm pretty fussy though. It might be easier if you like ask me what I've watched, like specifically. That's the
You were watching some other comfy anime recently, weren't you?
God, if I remember. I really like Kiki's Delivery Service, but I wouldn't say it's the best one. It's just my favourite. I'm actually kind of tempted to say Spirited Away is probably the best one, even though it's not personally my favourite.
Sometimes the cliche answer is the right one.
Yeah.
I haven't watched that many, but I think I like Howl's Moving Castle the most.
Yeah, that one's really good. I like that one. I like that one more than Spirited Away, but I think Spirited Away is better.
Actually, I saw a kid today. I think he was dressed as No-Face.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if maybe I'm just out of the loop and there's some kid thing these days that looks like that. The only thing is he had like red dots under his eyes. Does he have red dots under his eyes at some
He
point?
does, I think so.
Does he? I don't think so.
I'm trying to remember.
I don't
It's been
know.
years since I
That's what
watched
made
it.
me think that maybe he wasn't. Well, he was only about 6 years old, and he was dressed all in black. Apart from that, so it made me think that was him, which was a bit weird to see.
Princess Mononoke, best Ghibli film. I really enjoyed it, but I wouldn't say it's the best. I think it's one of the ones that is kind of, it divides a lot of people. Some people kind of find it boring, I think. Any thoughts on the Ratchet and Clank series?
Yeah, I think we both like them.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not much more to say about that. I think they've been overdone because they've just been pumping them out constantly. I know there's been a bit of a break from them now, but I would have liked to see more significant improvements in the series after the first few. The leap from 1 to 2 is so massive, and then after that they just kind of relied on the leveling up mechanic and stuff to keep people interested. They didn't really make any more significant improvements. Not that I remember anyway. The spherical worlds in one of them was pretty cool.
Oh, I haven't actually seen Porco Rosso. Have either of us ever watched or read Jojo?
No.
I know you're interested in it. I'm kind of interested in it as well, but it's kind of like Berserk in the sense that if you haven't read it, it can be a bit intimidating going in new because it's so big.
So big, yeah. I'm looking forward to reading it someday. We were watching Kaiji recently. I want to tell people about Kaiji.
Yeah,
If you haven't
Kaiji's
watched
brilliant.
Kaiji, you
Yeah.
should watch Kaiji.
It's really good.
Especially those first 8 episodes or so.
Yeah.
I do think it kind of peaked at the start almost, but although
Don't spoil it.
I won't spoil anything, but season 2 does go good places if you stick with it. At the end, it's kind of worth it. In the end, I think so anyway. But yeah, good show. Yeah, I like Kaiji. I love the theme tune for the first series as well. I tried to watch Akagi, but I just couldn't follow it.
Yeah, neither of us really understand the rules
Of Mahjong.
Yeah, so-
I need to learn more about that. I do want to watch it and get into it, but I figure it's probably wasted if you don't understand Mahjong a bit better than I do right now. So
Does your taste for Dark Souls affect your liking of Berserk, or vice versa?
I think I would say, it's not maybe as extreme as this is going to sound, but I would say after reading Berserk, I did lose some respect for the Souls series a bit, because it was clear to me how heavily inspired the art and stuff was by Berserk.
Yeah, that is kind of true, yeah.
Yeah, and I would say also that Berserk, but because it's in a medium that suits it better, it has a better story than any of the Souls games as well. But that's okay, because they're not really story focused and stuff like that.
In Dark Souls' defense, though, I think out of all the games that have taken elements from Berserk, it's probably done it the best.
Demon Souls kind of...
Well, I just mean the Souls game in general. I think Miyazaki has done the best with the influences
Oh,
from
yes.
Berserk.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Matthew hasn't played Dragon's Dogma. I've played Dragon's Dogma.
Yeah. I am sad that I have to wait for Berserk chapters now, yeah. Yeah. It is a long wait. I mean, I know it started updating again now, but it's only going to last for so long, isn't it? So.
Someone's saying watch Gurren Lagann. He has watched Gurren Lagann. He's a big fan.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I like Gurren Lagann a surprising amount. I will say that, a surprising amount. She, I couldn't get her to watch it, and I rewatched it again recently, even though it wasn't that long since I watched it, and I enjoyed it just as much the second time through. And when I got to the ending to it is very cathartic and nice, and it's just, you watch it and you go, that was good. That was a good show. I liked it.
Did Griffith do anything wrong?
Yes.
We had an argument about this. A little bit of a one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely think he did wrong.
Yeah.
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 You were shitting on Casca a bit though, which I thought was unfair.
Yeah, a little bit. But it was ultimately, yeah. But no, I think Griffith is such a good antagonist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a really good character.
Yeah, he's a really good character. Really good antagonist as well.
Yeah, it doesn't make him a good character.
Yeah.
Like morally, but he is a really good character.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I would say a large part of the reason why I enjoy Berserk is because of Griffith rather than Guts, actually.
Thoughts on Paranoia Agent or Satoshi Kon?
Like them both.
Yeah.
Although I think Paprika is a bit overrated.
I don't think anyone rates Paprika that highly. Not
People are always going on about Paprika.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like in comparison to Perfect Blue.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'd heard of Paprika loads before I watched this films, but I'd never heard of Perfect Blue, and Perfect Blue ended up being way better.
I love Perfect Blue.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah, it's way better than Paprika though.
Yeah.
I like Paranoia Agent as well. I really like Paranoia Agent. Yeah, a couple of the episodes weren't great, but there was something about it I really liked. Just the stories that just.
The kid.
Not even the kid. No, I didn't really like the kid all that
I
much.
like the kid. I thought there was something about him that was kind of creepy in a really realistic way.
Oh yeah,
It could happen.
yeah, but yeah, I remember watching it and thinking, there's little stories in here that are great, and you don't see stuff like this very often, and there's a bunch of them, and you know, maybe some of them don't go very far, but yeah, it's good.
Ghost Trick Video suggests you liked Ace Attorney. Have you anything interesting to say on that series?
Not really. I like it. I don't really feel I have much interesting to say about it.
You got me interested in that.
Yeah, you never really got that far though, did you? You beat the first one.
Yeah, I did. And I really liked the last case. The problem there is, like, once you put it down, I've a bad habit of putting games down.
Yeah.
And then kind of forgetting about them for a while. And it's the sort of game where you kind of need to play the cases from the start.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You have a really bad habit of putting stuff down.
Yeah.
I think the chat should guilt you into playing Nocturne again.
Yeah.
What do you think, chat? Do you think she should pick up that save file that she has of Nocturne, which is about a quarter of the way through or more, and she should play that again?
I'm a good bit into it. I'm at the pyramid things.
Oh yeah, you are. You're about halfway then.
Yeah. No, I'm not into Metal Gear.
Nope.
I'm kind of, I'm not really interested in things with like guns and stuff, except Bloodborne. I really like the guns in Bloodborne, which kind of surprised me. But I was really interested in Nocturne. Like, I really enjoyed everything I played, and I think Demi Fiend was great. It is just like a bad habit of putting down games. Usually to play either Dark Souls, Bloodborne, or Demon Souls again, which is unfortunate. But I need my fix, basically. Oh, dogs. I think you'd be the same. Cats or dogs?
Dogs. Dogs.
What's the worst anime I've watched? What's that shit one that's on Netflix now? High School
of the Dead. Oh my god, that was so bad.
Yeah, that was terrible.
That was so bad.
It wasn't even bad in the way that you could kind of enjoy it with people. It was just bad.
Well, it almost was at the start. That's why I watched the second episode. I was like, is this so bad I might enjoy it? And then I watched another one and I decided, no, it was just so bad. I left it on in the background for like 4 hours or something though. Just because I didn't want to pick anything else. And it's terrible.
Yeah, it's really bad.
It's really bad. Really, really bad. I'd say that's the worst one I'd watched as well.
Someone's asking about Sword Art Online. I didn't like Sword Art Online
I
at all.
hated it as well.
Yeah, shit.
Yeah, I thought it was bad.
What else? Attack.
Titan.
Yeah, that was weird.
I feel like you can't really say it's bad.
Yeah, because you keep watching it, waiting for something to happen, and nothing ever happens. But you still keep watching it for some reason.
Yeah. Well, I stopped, but yeah, you stopped before even I did. I stopped at an episode. I'll tell you the exact moment I knew I was never going to watch the show again. It was a bit where, I think it's about 8 episodes in, where they're cornered. The 3 protagonists are cornered, and there's a load of men with guns, and they have to try and talk their way out of the situation or do something to get out of the situation. And then, I forget why, but a bunch of smoke appears, and they have the perfect chance to escape, but instead they stand there for an entire episode talking about what they're going to do. For an entire 20 minutes or so,
really
they have this perfect escape option. And they just stand there instead, waiting for the guys with guns to shoot them.
Aren't they basically exploiting their friend as well? Like their friend they can turn into a titan. Isn't he like, putting himself on the line?
That's a bit of a spoiler there.
Oh, shit,
Sorry,
just ignore me.
Yeah, but it's for fuck's sake. That was the exact point I gave up on it. I said no chance of watching any more of this because it's just wasting time, just buying time.
Did any of you play Armored Core? I've played a little bit of it. I'm kind of interested in getting into it.
Jesus, I'm doing so bad.
I actually played an Armored Core game before I played Demon's Souls, and I quite liked it. I liked making the robots rather than playing the actual missions or whatever. I got one recently, and I was actually kind of disappointed. I think it was kind of very online heavy, which wasn't really what I was looking for. I don't know if Matthew has any opinions.
No. I never really got into them.
Have you played The Wonderful 101?
Yeah, it didn't go too well, did it? That's another game you dropped.
Yeah.
Although you only got a couple of missions into it.
Yeah. Though, to be fair, I was kind of harassed into playing it a little bit.
Yeah.
You don't care?
No.
No.
I just wanted to share the best game ever made with you, that's all, you know. So, not a big deal or anything, you know, so. Yeah. No, it didn't go very well when she played it, so.
Yeah, I'm kind of bad at, like...
It's another thing, you should pester her to play Bayonetta more. Because she likes Bayonetta, but she won't play it now that I play it.
Because he's really good at it. It's like, for ages and ages I was trying to get him to play it, because I was like, oh, it's really good, it's really good. And then he picks it up, and within like 2 days of playing it, he tells me that I've been playing it wrong the whole time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it can be a bit off-putting sometimes. It's like, you're like, oh, this is a great game, and then suddenly the person who you...
Anyway, so... I'll let somebody else pick this thing up, and I will allow them to transport it. That's the idea. It's actually pretty easy to get the Rainmaker to the other side of the map, if you just know what you're doing.
Do I continue answering? Is there any point?
What else we got there?
Stuff about the IRA.
As always. Very original, guys. The originality is astounding.
Is Our Wonderful's your favourite game ever?
I was very hesitant to say that anything in particular was my favourite game until one day I started talking about it, and she told me that anytime I talk about The Wonderful 101 I have a big smile on my face.
Yeah.
And that, you know, I just get really excited about it, and then that's when I realised that yes, it is actually my favourite game.
Yeah.
So.
Oh my god, I'm surprised. Sean Deans must actually be Irish.
Or he can copy and paste shit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he probably is Irish. There is a lot of us.
Yeah. Getting into video games. I think I just kind of grew up in the time where games were pretty big. At least, you know, I don't know, I think everyone kind of had a PlayStation. So, I don't know, they've just always kind of been around me, I guess.
Is that for you, yeah?
Yeah. You can answer as well, though, if you like.
Do you collect all your games in NTSC format?
What?
No. No, because I have too many of them in PAL format. Because when you're 12 years old and buying stuff, this kind of stuff, you know, is above your head. Not really something, especially back then, didn't even have the internet. So I didn't know that PAL was inferior. I didn't know that I was getting inferior games for a very long time. So, no. Ideally I would, but I don't have NTSC consoles and all that kind of stuff, so... it's unfortunate, but what can you do?
Thoughts on EVE Online?
Yeah, I've played a bit of it. I hated the skill system, the way it was just... Basically, you just click a button and then do nothing. And things happen over time, so that your skills improve. That sucked. And that's a real barrier to entry as well, now especially after all this time has gone by. Because how can you possibly compete with people who have always been... who've been at that for ages, when it's strictly time-based? So that doesn't make any sense to me. But anyway, I love the atmosphere of it. At least I did the first time I played it. I never really got back into it after that. I played it for a week or two. And I love the atmosphere. I love the way the stars look and how kind of empty it was and all that kind of stuff. but I wouldn't say I properly got into it.
Do you watch other Sentai anime?
No, I actually don't like Sentai stuff. That's one of the surprising things about why I love Wonderful 101 so much. I don't like Sentai stuff. I find it boring.
Actually, we watched...
Never watched Power Rangers when I was a kid or anything like that.
We watched Samurai Flamenco recently, and
Oh, yeah.
that was a weird experience.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Don't watch it.
Yeah.
I was really enjoying it.
Yeah, me too. And
No, don't say what happened. Let people experience it for themselves.
Okay.
But yeah, Samurai Flamenco. I was really enjoying it at the start, and then things happened, and then I wasn't enjoying it anymore.
Yeah.
And then we stopped watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thoughts on the new Transformers game?
I haven't played it, but I'm not really interested in it because I'm not really interested in Transformers. And licensed games in general are a real red flag for me. See, I don't know how old most of you are. I feel like I'm talking down to you a little bit when I say this because I'm a little bit old now. But I'm 27 now, and when I was young, licensed games are doing better now than they were in the past. Because when I was young, if a game was licensed, that was 99.9% chance that the game you were about to play was pure shit.
Yeah.
Or, let's say 90% chance, because there are a couple of good ones.
Yeah, there was rare exceptions.
Yeah, but most licensed games were pure shit. Now they're actually doing okay. Stuff like the Batman games, I mean, I know the combat is, yeah. But, those Batman games, of what I played of them, they're a really good Batman game, okay? 27 is not that old, but what I mean is when I was a kid,
Yeah.
And I think they're doing a lot better these days. So for me, licensed games are always going to have that connotation that they've spent money on a license that hasn't gone into making the game better, which is still true today, I think. But they're doing a lot better than they used to. So anyway, that's one reason why I'm not interested in it. Another one, just never big on Transformers. From what I've seen of it, I think it was directed by the Bayonetta 2 director, if I'm not mistaken. And I know I watched a little clip of it where Optimus Prime, I think it was, dodged an attack and got witch time. And I thought to myself, maybe this isn't the best mechanic to have in this game about massive robots. So it feels kind of like they've just taken mechanics from games that they know work and sort of slapped them on a Transformers game. That is my very, very brief, non-played, impressions of the Transformers game. That looked really out of place to me. You should be able to dodge things, of course, but just when you get robot time, then it just seemed a little out of place to me. So that has made me very suspicious about the quality of that game. This guy seems like he doesn't want to take the thing. And he doesn't want to make a pass for me either.
What's your favourite Clover Studio game?
Didn't they only make 3 games? Probably Okami, but I feel like very much like Bayonetta, I have probably neglected Beautiful Joe, so I'm planning on giving that more time in the future as well. And I'm looking forward to it now as well because it's hard to overstate how much I flipped on Bayonetta, so I reckon I probably didn't give Beautiful Joe a fair shot either back in the day, so I'm going to give that a go and see how that goes. So I'd say Beautiful Joe. I might even end up liking Beautiful Joe more than Okami, but I haven't played God Hand, and I don't know how it's all going to work out yet.
Any chance of a new critique?
I try not to. I honestly try not to. I don't want to spread too much negativity out there, just for the sake of it. And it's one of those things, if you do it too much, you're in danger of being that guy. And I only really do that kind of stuff when I feel disappointed or when I feel it's necessary. So I can't say. It's not something I plan in advance. I don't think, okay, it's time for another critique now. It's just something that sort of happened twice so far. Yeah, so nothing planned on the critique end of things. My question asker is out for a second, so just bear with me. I'm going to focus on the game. I'm doing a disservice to my teammates here because I should be doing a lot better than I actually am. What do we got?
Chances of videos on the Half-Life series.
Figure at this point you might as well wait until Half-Life 3, so never. Yeah, no, I'm dead serious about that. I'm not going to do one until Half-Life 3, if at all. Again, it's a series that's been talked about a lot, so I don't really see the need anyway.
Would you ever apply for a contest to hang out with Camilla for a day?
No, I've thought about this a lot, and I would love to, go and hang out with him. Although I'm sure he would just be tired of me after 1 second.
Yeah, you kind of have to be willing. Like the idea of
the idea of the contest implies that he doesn't want to, kind of. But no, because I think keeping myself separate from that kind of stuff is important for videos and stuff. Like, let's say, right, I'm a big Camilla fan. I would say after The Wonderful 101, he might even be my favourite game director out there. Good chance of that. But let's say if I did go and somehow manage to meet him and, have a drink with him and chill out and it all went great, fantastic. Then what happens if Scalebound and it's pure shit? Like, just hypothetically, what happens then? Can I critique it? Can I really skewer it like to the level that it would deserve? I'm just talking hypothetically. I'm not saying that it will be or anything like that. I hope it's not. But I'm just saying, if that did happen, that's why I would feel terrible about that, So just even for my own sake, I kind of wouldn't want to do that. And for the sake of videos and stuff, I'd want to be able to tell you guys how it really is, rather than trying to sugarcoat anything or anything like that, because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings,
Do you think Sulu51 is a real person?
At this point, no. Not anymore. Maybe he was back when he made Killer 7. Now he's just a brand name.
Thoughts on Dan Maku bullet hell games?
Don't have any. I really like top-down shooters and stuff like that. Twin stick shooters. I love twin stick shooters. But I've never been fond on the bullet hell variety because you spend a lot of the time in those games figuring out patterns, first of all, which is less interesting to me than just kind of dynamically trying to dodge bullets. And also I find that a lot of them devolve into moving your ship very, very tiny amounts to dodge bullets left and right and stuff like that, and I don't think that's the best use of the movement mechanics in those kinds of twin stick shooters, so that's why I'm not too fond of the bullet hell.
Did you answer anything on the Binding of Isaac?
No.
What's your thoughts on that?
Binding of Isaac?
Yeah.
I've played it a surprising amount for a game that when I think about it, I think I don't really like this game all that much. Well, you've seen it yourself. I have played a lot of it, haven't I?
Yeah, a
good
bit.
bit, yeah. But when I think about it, I think I don't really like this game. When I play it, I think the main reason is random number generators just aren't my thing. Although the game suits it. It does suit the game because that's what the game is about. So I'm not really going to begrudge it that. It's kind of one of the drawing points of the game is you get all these wacky combinations and sometimes they're good, sometimes they're terrible. And you live with it or you don't or whatever. What bugs me about it is how bad the shooting is. I don't like the shooting in it, and it seems like it should just be a lot better considering that's what you do in the game. The way the tiers work and the way you can only shoot in 4 directions and stuff. It does lead to some semi-interesting things, and maybe it's kind of necessary to get the power-ups to be as diverse and interesting as they are. Because you kind of want the player to be kind of stuck at the start with something very limited so that they can grow a lot over the course of the game. But it really annoys me when I start up a new game of Binding of Isaac and I can only shoot 4 directions, and just the way the shots work, and even the Isaac himself as well, his hitbox is really hard to determine because his head is so massive. So I'm not really sure what things are going to hit me and what aren't. And I feel like those are very fundamental problems, but if those were solved, I would like the game a lot more. So it's really hard to say. My thoughts on it are kind of mixed in that regard.
Is that question directed at me, or is that an accident? Do you remember what your thoughts were on Petrus in Dark Souls when you found the truth about him? Do you remember yours?
I wasn't that extreme about it. I didn't really. For me, it was kind of yeah thing. You were probably a bit more extreme about it.
Yeah, it really bothered me. I found out before you. I think I told you about it.
Yeah, you found out first, yeah.
And I found out, like, naturally. I found out without having seen it online or anything. And I remember being really pissed off. And it's actually kind of annoyed me to the point where every time I play Dark Souls, I always get proof that Petrus is a dick, and then I kill him.
Yeah, so you want in-game justification for killing him?
Yeah, I want in-game justification for killing him, and then I kill him. Do you really think Solid Snake really died inside the tanker? I don't know what that means.
Because after that you only meet Iroquois Pliskin.
Okay.
And you never see Solid Snake again.
Okay.
Iroquois Pliskin just pretends to be Snake.
Okay.
You know, at this point, would it really be that surprising if Kojima came out and said Iroquois Pliskin was, you know, a different character altogether? So, yeah, Snake died in the tanker. Why not? Solid Snake died that day, 2 years ago.
Yurt or Latrec?
I think in some ways Lautrec is kind of a bigger dick, because he does it just because he can and because he wants to. You know, he wants to take whatever he wants, whereas Yurt feels a sort of justification for what he's doing. He's trying to purge soul arts from the world, which is kind of a noble thing in and of itself, you know, or at least it feels loftier. It feels like he's not just doing it for himself.
It would be a loftier goal if it wasn't for the fact that he's working for, like, Mephistopheles' crew. So, that's kind of bad.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know. He says he's coming to fight the demons, and he has. He never lies to you. I don't think he
that's
does.
true.
I know where to take this now. Drag it past this thing. This guy knows what to do. You stay with me here, man. Bad time for lag. No, don't do that. I need a path.
What consoles did you grow up with?
The Mega Drive. Then we moved on to the PS1. I think we had a Commodore 64 as well, but it was a bit before my time. Yeah, the first one I really properly played on was the Mega Drive. Oh my god.
Thoughts on TF2?
Haven't played it in years. I think to date it's the only game where I liked it initially and then they updated it so much that I lost interest. That they changed it so much that I wasn't interested in what it was anymore. Which is weird. And it was all free. So you kind of think, well, good on Valve for updating their games for free. That's nice. And then the game just slowly changes into something you don't care about. And especially because when I got it, it wasn't free. So I paid for TF2 and then they updated it into a game I didn't want to play anymore. Which is a bit weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is a bit weird. Well, I got my money's worth out of it. I can't deny that. So it's hard to be too bitter about it. I played like 600 hours of it or something. So I had my fun with it, and then I moved on, and that's okay.
What's your favorite Souls boss?
Old Monk. It's gotta be.
Yeah.
Yeah, Old Monk.
Plain Doll or Maiden in Black?
Plain Doll.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, Maiden in Black is a real person. She has that going for her. Yeah. I figured you'd be more Maiden in Black. Anyway.
Play Lisa if you have the chance. It's a great game. Someone wanted me to tell you that.
Okay. Noted. I intend to play it at some point anyway.
Do you still play Dota? No.
No.
Thank God.
Oh, God.
What's my favourite Souls boss? That's actually pretty tough. I tend to flip-flop a little bit. But I really like Maiden Estrella. Just because that really kind of was an emotional sucker punch for me. It's very memorable for me, so probably that one.
Losing ranks all over the place here.
You lost a rank?
No, not yet, but I will soon.
Do you want to read and see if there's one you want to answer? Or?
I've never played Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, so I can't say if it's the most controversial mission. Are you going to make more Mario Maker levels? Yes, probably at some point. I just need to have another idea. Really, I won't have an idea until I sit down in front of it, but it's just... I have so much other stuff to play that I figured getting 2 decent levels out is enough Mario Maker for now. I should play something else.
Thoughts on the GTA series?
I have a weird history with the GTA series because everybody goes on about San Andreas and loves San Andreas, and that was the point where I burnt out on the series. Because I played some of the really old top-down ones first. I had some of those, and then I played Grand Theft Auto 3, and then I played Vice City, and I loved Vice City because I loved the aesthetics and the music and stuff like that. And then when San Andreas, its performance seemed a bit worse as well, I think. It might just be in my head. But I was impressed with the scale of it, but I never really got into it. I don't think I even owned a copy of it myself. And so then I just kind of gave up on the series, and I played 4 for a while. And I thought that was okay, but the story didn't really grab me, and it didn't really seem like the best fit for a GTA game. But I've been surprised by how much I like Grand Theft Auto 5 so far. I have to say, it's taken me back quite a lot. I almost feel a little bit childlike playing it, which is a weird thing to say about Grand Theft Auto. But you know. You pick up a look, everybody plays Grand Theft Auto before the age where they're technically supposed to, don't they? Right?
That's when they're the best, though.
Yeah. You pick it up and then, you go and you run people over and you have fun and you just let loose and do all these things that you can't do in the real world, and it's enjoyable. And that's good. And so I feel like GTA 4 was a bit too serious, whereas GTA 5 gives me more license to just go out and have fun with things and mess around and relax and all that kind of stuff. And I like the setting, and I still don't like the setting as much as Vice City, but I was probably never going to unless they do a sci-fi one at some point or something, which would be amazing. But yeah, so I'm surprised by how much I like GTA 5, and it's so impressive. Technically, it's amazing, absolutely an astounding achievement. I will say that from a technical standpoint. There was one point I was driving along in this massive open world, listening to music on the radio, one of 15 radio stations, and then a plane flies overhead, and you can see the shadow of it coming across the ground, and you know that kind of stuff. It's just amazing to me. People put all these different programmers put all these different systems in place, and they all work at once. And if a plane flies in the skybox, its shadows cast all the way down on the ground and stuff like that. And other games have had details like that. Like, God, I think even something like A Link to the Past had shadows from clouds and stuff. But it's just seeing this in a modern thing in an open world and stuff like that is pretty amazing.
Thoughts on reviews as entertainment as opposed to reviews as information?
I think reviews can be both. I think a lot of you would find my reviews entertaining when actually they're mostly supposed to be informative or, something like that. But a little bit of entertainment in a review is good. So I do try to sneak in a little joke here or there or something to keep your interest peaked and stuff. But I don't see why they can't be both. As long as the focus is on trying to deliver something good instead of just something that's meaningless and forgettable after a little while and transient and stuff like that. I always try and make my reviews something that you can go back and watch, and I think a lot of you like that. It was one of the ideas from the start, and I know that a lot of you do actually go back and watch the reviews again, and that makes me quite happy to hear. So they're entertainment in that way, aren't they?
Yep. Have you played Hotline Miami?
I have. I'm not sure if I quite finished it, but I got very far into it. I think maybe I did finish it.
Did you enjoy it?
I did. Again, it's kind of like Shovel Knight in that way, where people rave about it, and I see the good points, but it didn't quite blow me away to the same level that seemed to blow other people away. But I liked it.
Kind of a funny looking guy, isn't he?
Is he?
I think he's kind of a funny looking guy. I think that was him I saw in a picture, but he looks kind of like a cartoon hipster, but in real life.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me given the game.
Yeah. Thoughts on Ganondorf's nose?
Unreasonable. Is that what you wanted me to say? Did I do it monotone enough? Unreasonable. There you go. Am I like a cartoon character where people come up to me and say, do the catchphrase? Do the catchphrase.
Should I answer that?
Answer what?
Who's my waifu?
No.
Okay.
No. You don't want to get into the waifu wars. No matter what you answer, people will be annoyed.
Yeah, that's true.
Some questions are better left unanswered.
Where are you supposed to put the portal? That's old.
Yeah, that's an old one, yeah.
What? Why did Kojima scan Stephanie's feet?
Why not? Didn't he take pictures of her feet as well? Wasn't there pictures of her in a hallway? There was all sorts of mad stuff that he was tweeting when he was making that game. Thank you for screaming, Stephanie. That's an actual tweet from Kojima, by the way. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, thank you for screaming, Stephanie. He's thinking, yeah. I'm guessing it's, voice lines or something. I don't know. Anyway, yeah.
Will you say I am Matthewmatosis and I just can't stop?
No, because I'm afraid of what you'll use that for. See, this guy knows what he's doing right here. There we go.
Do you like any Star Wars games?
No, not especially.
I've heard before that one, Knights of the Old Republic, is supposed to be very good.
Yeah, I never played it.
I wouldn't know either.
There was some lightsaber game on the PS1, I think it was, that was surprisingly good. It was just lightsaber battles. Maybe it's crap. If I went back and played it, it might be crap. But I remember thinking it was surprisingly good. I got some mileage out of that.
PT, that was that Silent Hill thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Can you predict what the upcoming Zelda is going to be like?
It's going to be an open world, and it's going to be pretty good, and it's not going to have enough stuff in it. That's my thought. Like pretty much every open world game.
Dwarf Fortress?
What about it? Have I played it? I've tried several times. I think like a lot of people I've tried several times, and I just can't get into it. I want to, but you know, you look at it and it's this monumental task of just booting up a level, and you just think, is it worth it? And people say it is worth it. I have to trust them on that, and I don't have a lot of faith in people. So that might be why I haven't really gotten into it yet.
Thoughts on Link Between Worlds?
I liked it. That was good.
I think this has been asked a few times now. Alcoholic drink of choice.
There's a few of them. Oh, banana bread beer. Yes. I'll be very sad the day they stop stocking my banana bread beer. Yeah, banana bread beer. So it's just beer that tastes a bit like banana. It's nice. So I've tried all sorts of different, because, you know, I kind of like the idea of a flavoured beer. I tried all sorts of different flavoured ones, and they were all kind of lackluster until I got this banana one that actually had a banana flavour to it, so I liked it. And I get that from time to time.
Oh, you got some people agreeing with you. Banana bread beer is fucking awesome, apparently.
Yeah. It is. It's great.
It is pretty nice. It's got kind of a yeasty smell though, I think.
Yeah, but you don't smell it, you drink it.
Yeah.
You drink it.
My alcohol of choice. I mostly drink beer these days, because if I'm drinking it's usually at home. But if I'm out, it would be a Black Russian.
Yeah. Vibration is going nuts on this thing.
Opinion on Captain Falcon and Nintendo's mistreatment for him and F-Zero.
I never really got into F-Zero. Like I said, I love Wipeout, but I never really played F-Zero all that much. And so I don't have much of an opinion on the series. So I feel for you though, because it must suck if you really love F-Zero and they haven't put out an F-Zero game in forever. It must suck, but I don't feel that way myself because I never got into them.
I can confirm that Matthew is wearing a Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah.
It's a green one today.
Every day.
Yeah, every day.
Every day. Every day. Every day now.
Yeah.
It's every day now, yes. Last time I streamed it was, I'd like to own a Hawaiian shirt one day. Now it's, I will never take off Hawaiian shirts. Yeah, I have different colours. I have 4 different colours. I should get a 5th one.
You've more than 4. I think you basically got a shirt for every day of the week.
Yeah, I have a different shirt for every day of the week. I have a green one, a black one, a red one, and a blue one. And then a couple other ones that are different.
I don't really like those ones.
Yeah, I don't like them very much either. That's why I kind of stick to these ones.
Did you ever play the Metroid Prime series?
Yeah. There you go. I have.
Ronnie.
Hmm?
Ronnie.
Oh yeah.
So would you say Ronnie?
Yeah, she actually just linked me to. There's a Ronnie thing where there's one of the comics where everything that touches his body becomes a Hawaiian shirt. She linked me that the other day. Don't diss them. They're probably a lot more stylish than what you're imagining.
He pulls it off really well. I was kind of.
You think so?
Yeah, I was nervous when he said he was really going to go through with it, but he does actually pull them off really well. What 4chan boards do you browse? That'd
be the main one. Sometimes go on A when I'm looking for a new anime. found Planet Head in there, which is pretty good. Need to keep watching that. Yeah, that's about it. I should go on VR more, because I've been playing more retro games lately. So, retro games don't get enough love these days.
You go on TV a little bit.
Yeah, but not because I like it.
Yeah. What boards for me? I actually haven't been on these in quite a while. I've been going into generals a bit, but usually it's IC or the Pokemon board. I go on X a bit as well when I feel like being scared. Do you genuinely enjoy V? Does anyone?
Does anyone? Yeah. It's kind of one of those things where you go on it and then you just go on it then every day.
You go on it out of habit more than anything else.
It's very easy to just keep going on it because there's always something new there. I think that's the appeal in general. Because anytime you click it, something new will be there. So you just have this incentive to just keep clicking it. Because in the meantime, a thread will have died and a new one will have been born. So I think that's the appeal of image boards in general. And so it's very easy to just get stuck there. But, you know, I like the anonymity of anything like that, really. And I think there is a lot of value in that. You know, the whole meritocracy thing instead of, you know, whatever the alternatives are. I don't want to get into it. You all know what I mean. You know, your ideas are important. When you're posting anonymously, it's your idea, and the idea anyway, or the theory, if you have a good thread, is that the best idea is the one that survives. It's memes, Jack. You know, it's idea genetics. So it should be all about, you know, your argument and your ideas and stuff like that. So that's what I like about it. Doesn't always work out that way, but there you go.
What are your thoughts on Bane posting?
It's the most ridiculously forced thing I've ever seen. But it did tear a hole in reality, so...
Yeah, that was insane, wasn't it?
Do you watch Rick and Morty? No. I've heard really good things and I'm interested in it, but I kind of want to let it build up more episodes before I watch it.
Why do you think people like bashing Sonic the Hedgehog so much?
It's easy.
Yeah.
First of all, it is easy. I mean, have you seen the state he's in lately?
It's pretty bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I think people kind of conflate the way Sonic is now with the way he was back then, which isn't to say that he's, you know, the Genesis games or Mega Drive games were the most amazing thing ever, but, you know, I'm not sure they deserve quite the level of criticism that they've gotten in recent years. So yeah, I think the main reason is because it's easy. It's because his legacy has just been completely ruined by a bunch of terrible games. So, you know, why not? Why not talk about how shitty Sonic is?
Have you ever seen Redline, and would you like to see a video game with the same style? Is that the one where you like stop and go? What's that one?
Redline is the anime.
Oh right, okay.
It's the racing one.
I don't know.
I watched some of it. I actually stopped watching it, which sounds like a terrible thing to say. But I did. I didn't dislike it or anything, but it just wasn't pulling me in, and I thought it'd be best to watch it sometime when I'm more interested in it. So I haven't gone back to it. But I think since Studio Liverpool has been dismantled, if I wanted any racing game, I would just want assurance that Wipeout could come back and be as good as it was. That's all I want out of the racing genre. Anything else at the moment doesn't interest me. So in a way, I feel for F-Zero fans in a similar fashion, because I think my racing series is dead now as well. But there you go.
Do you like the Telltale games?
I'm gonna say no.
Monkey Island is a Telltale, isn't it?
No. The newer Monkey Islands were Telltale, yeah, but Monkey Island wasn't originally Telltale, I think.
Okay, never mind then.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say no. I mean, I think like anybody, I played the first season of The Walking Dead and I liked it, but when I got to the 5th episode, I had done nothing wrong. It's kind of spoilery territory, but you know, I'm assuming most of you have played it, most of you that are interested. There's something that happens in the 5th episode. Somebody comes along, and you know, you may have wronged this person in some way. You may have done some things wrong, and it turned out that the choices that I had made, I had done fucking nothing to this person, and yet they still acted like I had. And you know, because you gotta have basically a boss fight at the end of the series. And that was the point. I didn't even have to try a second playthrough. That was the point where I realised that absolutely nothing that I did had any consequences whatsoever. And once you've realised that, then, you know, who cares anymore? Like, the story is just a story. It's just a story. It doesn't change depending on what you do. So, basically the only unique thing those games have going for them doesn't actually exist. It's just all an illusion. And it's an illusion that fell apart after just 5 episodes. So... so there you go. No. Those are some pretty harsh words, but no.
What's your favourite Bloodborne weapon? You actually really like the weapons in Bloodborne.
Yeah, I really like the weapons in Bloodborne. I mean, I get why people talk about there not being as many of them, because it's factually true.
Yeah.
But I'm way more interested in trying different weapons in Bloodborne than I was in the other Souls games, because they actually feel really different.
Yeah, I like them as well.
But I gotta say, I think it's just a saw cleaver. I'm looking forward to the new weapons.
Pizza wheel.
Yeah, the rocket hammer thing might be my style as well. I love the Tonitrus as well. Oh my god, do I love the Tonitrus. Oh man, I love it. First time I saw, you know, that Tonitrus hunter?
Yeah.
And I've never really looked at an enemy in a Souls game and gone, I want that weapon. I know some people do that. They go, oh my god, I hope I can get that weapon. The weapons just didn't interest me that much in the Souls games. I mean, you've seen my playthroughs of them, being faithful to how I actually play the game.
Yeah.
I just played a knight and I didn't really care all that much about weapons. I just use whatever's on hand. That's why I use the lightning spear, because I don't have to make anything myself. I just pick it up and go with it.
I hate that he uses the lightning spear.
Is it really 4:30 in the morning? Anyway. Holy shit. Anyway. Yeah, but in Bloodborne, that hunter comes along and whips out the Tonitrus and does that whoosh thing where it goes, you know, electric. And I just went, if I can't get that weapon, this game is shit. And then I got the weapon and I was like, this game isn't shit because I have the weapon now. And I love it. I love the Tonitrus. Even though it's a little bit, the moveset is a little more bland compared to some weapons. I still think it's great. It's great. It's great.
Yeah, my favourite is the threaded cane.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be the burial blade, but I got really attached to the cane while I was playing it.
Yeah, you can't get the burial blade until...
Yeah, that's shit.
Yeah. Especially, they did advertise it.
Yeah, that was the thing.
Ads,
like, I saw it and I got so excited.
It was kind of the weapon to show off the transformation thing. Because you went, whoa, this becomes a scythe, whoa. So, yeah, I feel your pain on that.
Yeah, plus I like always use the great scythe in Dark Souls.
Yeah, yeah. See, this is the thing, I did a whole playthrough with the threaded cane, and that's just not something I really do in the other Souls games. I kind of stick to what I know.
Yeah.
But I did a whole playthrough with the threaded cane, and I liked it. I liked that it was different, that you could abuse the range on it compared to other weapons and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm looking forward. I should start up another... Yeah, actually, I kind of want to play Bloodborne again already, but I figure I should hold out until the old hunter so it feels kind of fresh again at this point, you know?
What's the most disappointing game you've ever played?
I've got to go with Spore. There is no other valid answer. If you're somebody who is looking forward to Spore, you can never give another answer to that question for the rest of your life. You just can't. And I wasn't as disappointed by it as most people. I tempered my expectations as much as I could. and even then, it was just mind-blowingly disappointing. There is no other answer. Anybody who looked forward to 4 before it came out just can't give another answer to that question. Not possible.
Solid Snake or Big Boss?
It used to be Big Boss, but now I might have to say Solid Snake. Yeah. I used to be a Big Boss man. But I'm not so sure anymore. I'm not so sure of that anymore. Yeah. 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 What else we got?
Your favorite Devil May Cry weapon?
See, I don't really know the other games that much, apart from the first one. I never really got into the other ones as much. So, I mean, I did play a lot of 3, actually, back in the day. I played a lot of it, but I don't remember the weapons.
I was waiting for that. Someone has quoted you.
Back in the day?
Be a big boss man. Matthew 2015. I was waiting for it.
Big Boss Man.
Yeah.
I used to be a Big Boss Man.
How's your Japanese going?
Oh, so someone actually knows them still. Well, I was trying not to talk about it because I don't like talking about things like that before you actually do them. But it's going okay. I think I've heard this advice before. I probably never should have mentioned it to anybody. I forget why I did in the first place, but I've heard this advice before that you should tell people what you're doing. Like if you're going to do something, like if you're going to learn Japanese, tell everybody you know, and that way it forces you to do it. But apparently there was a study done, and if you tell people that you're doing something, that almost gives your brain the same level of satisfaction as actually bothering to do it, and so it reduces your motivation to go and do it. Whereas if you just keep it to yourself, and then suddenly surprise someone someday and say, oh yeah, by the way, I can do this, then, you know, that's the satisfaction you were waiting to get, and that's what keeps you going. So, I don't like to talk about it too much.
Favorite Unite Morph?
Oh, that's a tough one. Oh, it goes back and forth all the time, especially as your understanding of the game changes and improves. Like when you first start out, you go, why would I use anything but the sword? Because the sword is the easiest to draw and it's good. And then you go, well, hang on, the fist is so much more powerful than the sword, so if I'm fighting a big enemy and I want to do lots of damage, I should be using the fist. And then you go, but hang on, the fist doesn't get me enough combo points, so if I want lots of combo points, I gotta use the gun. And the gun stuns things as well, so the gun is really good. So which one do I use? Do I use one of them or do I use the other one? What about Unite Bomb? I gotta use that all the time. If I want to juggle an enemy, I should be throwing Unite Bomb whenever I throw them up in the air. I should be doing that. But do I not use, Unite Claws enough? Do I not use that? What about Unite Boomerang? Or Unify Boomerang? Unify Boomerang. What about that? So, no. I can't pick just one. They're a team. That's the thing. They're a team. And you have to use them all. So there you go. That's my answer.
I like the pudding one.
Yeah, but that's not an offensive one. When they say favorite morph, I assume they mean offensive. If you don't mean offensive, it's probably the pudding, just because it's so useful.
I just think it's cute. What's your favorite Mega Drive game?
Oh, I really don't know. No, I really couldn't say. I like all the classics that you would assume, like Streets of Rage and stuff like that. I feel like there's one I'm forgetting. I do feel like there's one that if it came to mind I would say it was my favourite. But it's just not coming to me.
Do you know what a char clone is? A character clone? No. Do you know what that is?
Char clone?
A char clone.
A char clone?
Character clone?
Character clone? I don't know.
Yeah, no then to that.
Yeah, car clone.
2D or 3D platformers?
2D. Yeah, I'll say 2D. I think 3D has more potential, but it hasn't hit it yet. And maybe never will. unfortunately.
As you started saying that, someone has said Matthewmatosis porn is the best. What's your favorite kind of potato?
Don't have them.
Opinion on Majora's Mask 3D.
Barely played it. One of those things that I bought when I was making the Dark Souls video and just haven't had the time for. I should play some more of it. I will say, immediate impression, the moon didn't look as bad as I thought it would. I still don't think it looks as good as the original. But the screenshot that they showed to compare them makes it look worse than it actually is in the game. From what I remember anyway. I don't think it looks that good. Or that bad. I don't think it looks that bad in the game. So that was a pleasant surprise.
Do you think Yoshiaki Koizumi should go back to developing the Zelda games?
Was he actually the brains behind Majora's Mask? I mean, people credit him with the storytelling aspects of it, I think. It would be interesting to have him and Aonuma swap series, yeah. I would like to see things just freshened up in general over at Nintendo. And you know, even just for the sake of those directors as well, I can't imagine it's that satisfying to work on the same series for, 20 years like a lot of those people have now at this point. Surely if you're, a really creative and talented person, you're going to want to work on something else at some point. I mean, they go to efforts to mix things up, especially with the 3D Mario and 3D Zeldas. They really do mix them up quite a lot. But even so, you're still making Mario, you're still making Zelda. There's certain things that are going to be there every time. And so I just wonder if that must get a bit boring for them. So I would like to see bigger changes. But not necessarily them just swapped or anything like that, Rambling on.
Could you beat Kojima in a fight? I think so.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know how big he is.
Probably not that big.
I don't know. He does look kind of buff, actually, from the pictures I've seen. I'm not. So...
I don't know. Kojima seems kind of spoiled. So...
kind of spoiled.
Yeah, I mean, you could slap him and he might just fall over and cry.
Maybe. He probably does get his own way all the time.
Yeah,
well,
so
except lately. Except lately.
Yeah, I don't think he's used to people picking a fight with him, really.
Yeah. Probably not.
What's your
until
favorite?
recently.
What's your favorite Hawaiian shirt?
My black one. I have a black one. It's just black and white. It's good. It's my favorite. And it's the best looking one. And it's nice. I wear that on Tuesdays when we have staff meetings. So I'm looking my best in the staff meeting in my black Hawaiian shirt.
Have you played any of the Sam and Max games?
Not really, no. No, not enough to comment on it.
I started one a bit, but I couldn't really get into it. I enjoy it because I enjoyed the cartoon, but no, I wasn't that into it.
Yeah, I should play the older ones because I think maybe they're probably better than the Telltale ones.
Yeah.
The Telltale things have this really stilted way of delivering lines and stuff that don't... It just doesn't lend itself well to comedy, I don't think.
It's a loaded question. Was Skyward Sword a mistake?
Well, you can learn from mistakes.
Yep.
Yeah. If you really love the puzzle solving in Zelda and that's all you play it for, there's a valid reason to say that Skyward Sword would be your favourite.
Yeah.
You know?
Which version of Ocelot do you like most?
MGS3. Pretty good. You're pretty good.
Who's the better developer, Kojima or Miyamoto?
Miyamoto. He makes. He's made more varied stuff.
Yeah.
Kojima has really. Like, there's been significant improvements in Metal Gears over the years, but you can't really compare that to making the sort of things that Miyamoto has made, like Pikmin, Mario. I forget what else he actually directly created. I don't think he was responsible for creating Metroid, but he's overseen so much stuff that you have to respect Miyamoto more than Kojima. I think you would have to do that, even if you were a huge Metal Gear fan. You got oh yeah, Zelda, of course. Miyamoto made Zelda. Yeah,
It's kind of important.
that's a pretty big one, yeah. Yeah, so I mean, you gotta go with Miyamoto, even though he's also responsible for Wii Music. You gotta go with him, even if you're a huge Metal Gear fan. I think so, anyway. Yeah, all the Zelda 1 coming in.
Your favorite survival horror games?
So, see, there's different kind of subgenres of the horror thing, and I'm not entirely sure which ones are just horror and which ones are survival horror. Like, is something like Amnesia survival horror or not?
I'd say that's survival horror because you can't exactly do anything about your situation. Like, you can't fight the monsters.
But survival horror to me kind of implies some level of resource management or something like that.
Yeah, I suppose.
And, well, Amnesia does have that to some degree. I still feel like it's almost in a different genre.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure about that. Something like Amnesia counts as survival horror or something. Not that I would necessarily say Amnesia is my favourite horror game. I've been playing more horror stuff lately, but I don't know. I don't know whether or not I have enough experience in it. But I would say my favourite survival horror series is probably Silent Hill.
What do you think of the Siren games?
See, I haven't played them. A lot of people say that they're the best survival horror out there. They could very well be. But I don't know.
The first one and the second one I think were good. There was a newer one I think that was released when the PS3 was pretty new. That wasn't as good, I don't think.
Yeah, I tried that one and I couldn't get into it.
Yeah. I think it got better when we got further into it, but the earlier ones are better.
Yeah, see, I haven't played them.
I think you'd enjoy them. They're very scary, so I could only play a little bit.
I think it's not a genre that ages particularly well.
Actually, the faces were really freaky in them. I don't know what they did. You'd probably know better to capture like the faces and stuff in the Siren games, but they're like they're basically like real people's faces, like pasted onto like figures.
Yeah.
It's really freaky looking. It's really unnerving.
Yeah, but that was back then. What was that? PS1 days?
Yeah, it's still open. I might be wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. See, I think horror needs to trick your brain a bit more than most other games. So I think once graphics kind of improve, they suffer a little bit.
Yeah.
They also gain a little bit because they look weirder.
Yeah.
But I think they also largely suffer because
the grainy
they're
quality.
just not as convincing anymore, you know?
Yeah, the grainy quality was definitely in the game's favour.
So I'm not sure whether or not I'd be able to appreciate it if I were to play it now.
Why am I better than Matthew in Dark Souls and Demon Souls. I would say that is less to do with skill and more to do with exploiting the game.
Yeah.
I
haven't just paid her to say that.
No, he hasn't. Matthew is generally more technically skilled at games than I am, but I tend to get more invested in like obscure details. So I'm in a better position to take advantage of certain things in the games, like the regen for the old monk boss fight.
Yeah.
But yeah, if it came down to pure technical skill, Matthew would be better. That probably doesn't come across very well in his videos, because he tries to do a very sort of, I guess, average playthrough. I think he likes to gimp himself a bit because it's just more enjoyable. And like, I can agree with that. I think I kind of do it to a degree as well. I don't really understand the sort of person that goes into a game like Dark Souls and just like uses all the best equipment for everything, because then you're just kind of making it too easy for yourself.
Yeah, well, I think it depends on the player. What I was saying in the video is one of the pros of the games is you can kind of bring it to your level.
Yeah.
So.
That's really good. Like the difficulty is really flexible in that way.
Yeah.
Creepypastas. I love reading creepypastas, but they really scare me. I'm like a complete coward, but I love scary stuff. I'm trying to think. Basically anything with skinwalkers in it freaks me out. I love reading it.
Yeah, I'm so disappointed I didn't. Yeah. I suppose it's a spoiler for anybody who wasn't watching, but we thought we might get some of that action earlier on, and we didn't get it. So that sucks.
What? Matthewmatosis confirmed for prostitute?
I don't know, it must have been something you said a minute ago.
Apparently.
Do you think that ranged weapons / spells should be taken out of the Souls games entirely to avoid exploiting them?
No, I don't think they should be removed, but I do think it should be changed.
What time is it? It's nearly 5 o'clock, so I'm going to do 2 more matches and then we're going to go to bed, unfortunately. I can't believe I only meant to stream this for an hour or two. We've probably been streaming this about half as long as I did until dawn.
Yeah.
So yeah, what we're on ranged weapons spells. I almost kind of think they should be taken out.
Yeah, but you've never used them, so.
Well, I have sometimes.
Yeah, I do think
I do try to step outside my box sometimes just to experience what the rest of the game is like, but
I do think there is a place for them, but
if the AI was better, they wouldn't
Yeah.
be so bad. Yeah, if the AI was better.
it is really easy to sort of abuse them though. Like, yeah, exactly, because the AI is so stupid.
Yeah. Why didn't you dress up as Wonder Red for Halloween? Because, well, first of all, I didn't dress up as anything. But I actually don't like the way people dress up as non-scary things for Halloween, because it's supposed to be a scary holiday, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's kind of the point. So when people dress up as things that aren't scary, that annoys me a little bit. And if you want to dress up as something else, just dress up as it, but it's not really a Halloween costume if it's not something like a vampire or, you know, or anything scary. Anything. I mean, I'm being kind of unimaginative there. You can tell I'm getting sleepy now. Unimaginative there. You know, there's all sorts of different things you can interpret as scary, but it should at least be vaguely interpretable as scary. So I don't like it when people abuse the holiday and turn it into a cosplay day instead of Halloween.
I like that quote. I don't like things Matthewmatosis.
Did I say that?
No, someone's just kind of taking you out of context a little bit.
Yeah, but did I actually say something like, did I say that?
Probably.
Word for word?
Probably.
Yeah.
How did you become interested in PC gaming?
Half-Life 1. Half-Life 1. I went over to a friend's house and sat down. I played a little bit as well. Mostly watched him play. It was his house and he was playing in the middle of playing it. So Yeah, I watched it. I think I went over a few days actually, and just watched him play it, and played a little bit myself, and I was very impressed and interested in stuff. I liked the controls and it all. I don't think I even had a computer at that point at all, like a computer at all, so to me it all looked very complicated, but of course I would later come to find out that it's the best way to control first person games by a long shot, and yeah, that's how I became interested in it. But it wouldn't be for a long time afterwards that I could really get into it myself, because we got a computer but it wasn't very good. And so there was only a limited amount of stuff I could play in it. I spent a long time playing Red Alert 2. Red Alert 2 on my original computer. It's hilarious when you go back and look at the recommended specs for those games. It's something like 8 megabytes of RAM. 8 megabytes of RAM that game needed. I remember I had The Sims as well. The first one, and I had I got loads of the expansion packs over time. I think I had them all eventually, and the way the computer was set up, it was a weird computer. I think it was second hand from some college or something, and it had 3 different hard drives in it that were all 2 gigabytes. So instead of having a 6 gigabyte hard drive, I had 3 2 gigabyte hard drives, and of course I was just a kid, so I had no idea how to try and combine them into one sort of virtual drive or anything like that. I'm not even sure if it would have been possible back then. I don't know. And so if I wanted to play The Sims with all the expansion packs, I basically had to clear off an entire hard drive because it took up 2 gigabytes of space. And yeah, that was fun. And I had to uninstall everything and then reinstall everything as well if I got a new expansion pack, because it would take up less space, I think, if you installed them all back to back instead of doing it one by one. I think so, anyway. No, I could be wrong about that, but that's the way I thought of it at the time. That was a big tangent. Sorry.
Someone asked what would I do if Matthew was a skinwalker. I'm not going to say it on the stream, but we actually have a code word.
You think we're joking about this, her being scared of the thing? We have a code word.
Yeah, we have a code word.
Yes, I think it's ridiculous. But we have a code word so that if she's ever suspicious, she can ask me.
Yeah.
And I can say the code word to prove that I'm not. I don't like the term skinwalker. There's a better term for them.
If there is, I don't know. I think they are basically the Wendigo things.
Anyway, yeah, we have
yeah.
We have
So I've already thought of that.
A code word.
Yeah.
Yeah. Won't say it on stream though.
No.
She's asked me it several times already. Yeah.
I have.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's good to be safe about these things.
Oh yeah, you just never know when the laws of reality will break down, and certain people will magically be able to turn into other people and stuff like that.
See,
very scary.
Someone says here doppelganger is a good term. I don't know what it is in my brain, but I always kind of think of a doppelganger as a relatively neutral sort of copycat.
No, I think of that as well.
Yeah, whereas a skinwalker is like a malicious thing.
Well, I think there's a better name than
human.
skinwalker. I think there's a better name.
I'm pretty sure it is Wendigo.
No, well, maybe, but...
Does anyone know a better word?
It's... I don't know. I really don't know what it was.
Would you like to do America? As in visit America?
Yeah. Yeah, I would. I'd prefer to go to Japan. I think I'd like to move to Japan someday. Although, I haven't even been there yet, so I don't know if I'd like it. But I would also like to go to the US. I'd like to go on a road trip across the US. Nothing major, just to get in a car and go out on those nice big empty roads that just go on forever in a straight line. It sounds kind of relaxing. Leave one hell of a carbon footprint, but it sounds like it would be a nice vacation.
Someone here is saying I would get a kick out of Metroid Fusion. I'm pretty sure I know what they're talking about, and I think if I actually played that and experienced that, I would switch it off immediately and flee, and probably hide under the bed.
I've showed her that.
Yeah.
And yeah, it scared her quite a lot. To be honest, it's surprisingly scary for what it is. It actually really is surprisingly scary. You know, a couple of parts in that game. They're really surprisingly scary for what they are. Just these little dumb sprites at a side, you know, angle point of view thing. Yeah, surprisingly. Gotta give it that, you know? It has its own problems, but it did have that going for it. I do worry about that American roads getting boring. Yeah, could easily get boring pretty quick. Well, I lost most of the matches, but I'm blaming that on you. I normally do okay.
Yeah, he does normally do okay.
Also, I'm pretty tired.
It probably doesn't mean much for me to say that, because I might just be saying that, but yeah.
Yeah, okay. Did I lose it? I didn't lose rank. I held on to my rank just about. Oh, I stopped playing ranked right before I could lose it. I didn't consciously do that, but I think my subconscious was protecting me there. Oh man.
I think it's bedtime now.
Yeah, I think it's bedtime now. I'm pretty tired. I was part of the reason I wanted to play Until Dawn was because I wouldn't have to play it all night, just to finish it, and then I went and did this anyway.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I will try to stream more often, especially since, you know, the recent news with the job and all that. So, I will try to stream more often. I'm not going to make any promises, but I think I'll be able to squeeze in more streams in future. Also, I didn't want to stream because I used this software to record Dark Souls, and I was just so paranoid about fiddling with the settings, considering how many problems I had with it, that I didn't want to touch it to do any streaming. So it's kind of freed up now to do a bit more streaming. So hopefully, but I'll take a little break now and go to bed. So yeah.
Night.
Yeah. Thanks everybody. Good night, everyone.